How about a high, maybe 70? This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The Annie Fry Show is sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Air Comfort Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up for their honor flight today at gsl.honorflight.org. And for HVAC services, aircomfortservice.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Happy Tuesday. Got to say that out loud because it feels like a Monday. You said last week felt like it took forever.
Yeah, it did. And now this week feels like we're ahead.
It just jumps off to the second day.
This is great. I'm having a great Monday. I don't know about you.
Yeah.
Because it's Tuesday.
Wait a second. It's Tuesday. I was not really aware on Friday when we were doing the show that people were wondering if Donald Trump was dead.
I didn't either. That was a thing this weekend. What's going on? And why is that a thing?
It's too simple. It's too easy to get outraged about a 48-hour amount of time where President Trump is not publicly viewable, and the left is outraged, suggesting that maybe he's dead. There were people saying that he was dead.
Yeah.
It's too easy to compare that to Joe Biden.
I was listening to some of Trump's earlier records and playing them backwards, and they were saying Trump is dead, and I was like, I think this is proof that he predicted this back in the 1980s when he was on Oprah. That's all made up.
Oh, this is the one time you confess that.
Just
right
letting
after,
you know.
Yeah. Do you easily fall into the trap of Donald Trump's not been in the public eye for 48 hours? Where were you? Where was this outrage? Where was this curiosity when Joe Biden was president? Have you even allowed yourself to do that?
Like getting mad that the other side was not saying anything when Joe Biden wouldn't be around for a while?
Did you see that the president? I saw this, and I think it's real. And with Donald Trump, you never know. Did you see that they are going to put up a portrait of the AutoPen?
I saw that, and I almost can't believe it because the pictures I saw, I thought that's got to be made up. But I would believe that Trump could do it.
He would totally do that. It says Trump. It's got Donald Trump's first presidential portrait.
Yes.
Where looks like, I'm pretty happy to be here. And then there's a picture of the AutoPen draft. And then there's the picture of Donald Trump says, like, I've been hard and I've seen some things.
Was that his mugshot or was that just his?
No, we didn't put up his mugshot.
Okay.
Not there.
Well, he looks way tougher in the second
Yeah,
picture.
that's his presidential portrait.
Okay.
So we're asking you on the YouTube channel today, are you worried about President Trump's health? I don't have the options that I put in here. I know that one of them was, yes. Like, yes, I am worried about this. One of them is not at all, and one of them's like, I'm a little worried about it. He's 79 years old. His birthday is in the summer. It's Flag Day. So it will turn 80 next year. I think that in any other circumstance, honestly speaking, of course we'd be a little concerned that the president is of an advanced age. Are you?
No, I'm not at all.
Are you at all compelled to answer that way because of the hypocrisy of people who are asking that question right now?
No, and I'm not. The thing is about the only thing that I think is a concern, and this is a very mild concern, is the bruising on his hand. But they put out a statement on this like in March, not even recently, because the bruising was around then. And they said, look, this guy, and this has got to be true of a lot of presidents, but I don't know if it's particular of Trump or, he meets a lot of people. He's constantly working. That the bruise on his hand was because he shakes hands with so many people, and they're
Isn't he also on blood thinners?
Yeah, that's very possible too. I don't remember that from that statement, but that they're constantly shaking his hand, and it's very vigorous. And he's kind of a big guy, so it's not like a mild handshake. It's a firm handshake, and it's every day, and it's 500 times a day he's doing this with whoever, and so if you do that over and over and over, even if you're not 79 years old, you're probably going to get a little bit of a rash or a bruise where people keep grabbing you in the same spot. So that to me would be the only thing that I would be like, maybe that's a concern that, he's shaking hands too much, but that's it.
I know everybody wants to know what Tim Walz thinks. Now I want you to listen to this. I want you to listen to this clip. This is the Labor Day. There was a Labor Day protest. Even though Donald Trump is doing more for laborers in this country that has been done for them in decades, the old cranky ladies and their subjects all came out in different protests. My favorite one was the Chicago protest, where you've got 58 people shot this weekend. For some reason, they felt safe enough to go out and protest in the broad daylight, of course. So this is Tim Walz this weekend at a laborers protest, Workers' Labor Day. So hooray. Governor of Minnesota, still former and failed vice presidential candidate, on the ticket with Kamala Harris. And he's talking about the news from this weekend that we're discussing.
You get up in the morning and you doom scroll through things, and although I will say this, the last few days you woke up thinking there might be news. Just saying. There will be news sometime, just so you know, there will be news.
Oh, I see.
You woke up thinking that there might be news. So the implication here is that he's talking about the fact that President Trump was not seen for 48 hours. There was a reporter from the Daily Caller who interviewed the president at the White House on one of those days he didn't have a public event. And she's like, he's as good as he's ever been. He's fine. He's well. But you have Tim Walz there using a Labor Day acknowledgement, a protest or gathering or whatever it might be, to hint at the fact that, we thought we were going to have good news. This is just like when he was talking about Tesla stock crashing. This man gets off on the weirdest things, and he's so outward about it. To me, that's something that I could see somebody saying in a closed door, maybe like a donors meeting or something like that. Like, we thought we were going to get some news this weekend. It didn't end up happening. But here's my question for you. Is that something that Donald Trump would say about his opponent?
Maybe.
I think it might be.
Yeah.
Is it different when Trump says it than when Tim Walz says it?
I don't know. Maybe a little bit, just because the comedic stylings of each one is able to pull it off more than the other. But I will say this:
is Tim Walz ever funny? Can you think of a time he was ever funny?
Not really.
He
tries.
He's kind of like at best a lovable loser.
I was gonna say he's kind of folksy.
You give him. Well, I don't even want to.
That's probably giving him too much credit.
I don't even want to do that to the folks.
Okay.
Or the folks.
Okay.
I've never met them.
He's folksy.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Correct. But there is an element, and I'm just going to say this, there's an element of pity. Like he seems nice enough to feel sorry for, compared to some of these other cats that get in the political world, and you're like, you're just not a good person. Tim Walz, like, there's an element of sympathy or pity that you can kind of muster for him, or you just want to avert your eyes because what he does is so weird. I do think, though, before we would go all in on trashing Tim Walz for suggesting that we almost got some news, I don't think he says good news, but he says got some news, and he kind of closes his eyes and nods his head, like affirming that it would be good news to him, of course. Is it weird to say that to the people on the left, especially the Tim Walzes of the world, that if news came of President Trump's demise, that they wouldn't be celebrating? There will be celebrations in the street if something like that happens. How sick is that?
Yeah, Yeah, that would be sick. Because if shoe on the other foot, if Joe Biden had died in office, especially, I don't think that there would be people
There'd be no celebrations.
doing parades.
No. There'd be fear, too, because people would be more afraid of Kamala Harris stepping in. And I don't know that they shouldn't have, the people on the opposite side of the aisle shouldn't have the same trepidation about what J.D. Vance is capable of at a cool 41 years of age. You'd be looking at potentially 11 years of President J.D. Vance. All this to say that while President Trump took 48 hours to not schedule a billion public events like he traditionally does, there were rumors swirling on the internet that he was not well, that he was in a coma, that he had passed away. So today at 1 o'clock, he's going to make an announcement from the Oval Office, and I'm pretty sure that the announcement is that they're moving Space Force to Alabama. So I'm pretty sure this isn't an announcement that I want to break into our coverage for. And we're going to speak to Jim Talent at 1 o'clock anyway. But we are going to monitor it because I am curious if he gets asked that question. So I want to make sure that we're watching his comments to make sure that if he does speak on this issue, I think it's a big deal. I think it matters. The fact that there's such a different, it's not just a difference in coverage. The macabre interest in the story is incredibly different. And it tells an important tale about the culture that makes up these political sides. Bold statement. I don't think there's anything that the Democrats and the Progressive Party stand for right now that is pro-America. Not a single thing. We're going to take a quick break, and I'm excited to welcome Paul Mauro onto the show. He's a Fox News contributor, retired NYPD inspector. We're going to talk to him about the crime in Chicago this weekend and the likelihood that the federal government gets in Chicago, Illinois to make it safe. Paul Mauro next. Don't go away. Stewart's American Mortgage. He's the Bagel Loan guy. When you are looking for a mortgage, whether it's a brand new mortgage on a new home that you're looking to buy, or if you're looking for a mortgage refinance, I want to make sure that you understand that Stewart's American Mortgage is there to guide you, make you comfortable, help you through this process in a speedy, quick possible way so that you can get the best possible deal at the end of it. The business at Stewart's American Mortgage, it's catered to you. You get a quick turnaround. He can close in less than 2 weeks. And with the Bagel Loan, you pay nothing in closing costs. He takes care of them for you because you do business directly with Stewie. Stewart's American Mortgage is available for a phone call at 314-324-4440. That's 314-324-4440. You can call him, you can text him directly there, and you're going to work with Stewie to make sure that you are taken care of from the start to the finish. He can work very fast. If you have a lot of questions and you're not ready to pull the trigger, just make sure that you understand the Bagel Loan is only available with Stewie, and that's where you pay $0 in closing costs. Google the Bagel Loan, NMLS number 226715.
Wow, we've had a hot summer so far. Probably still got a little bit more heat coming in through the rest of August and September. Most likely, let you know, I am still here. If you guys looked up the wife looking through you at a fork, I am still here. She still loves the hell out of me because my air conditioner did not break this summer, and I did not need to call me to have it looked at or have it fixed. But if you do need your air conditioner fixed, we can get to you pretty quick. If you want a new one, somebody tells you you need a new one, we can get to you really quick. Just call me, Bart Inman, one easy number, Missouri and Illinois, 314-293-2600 or bartinman.com. I almost forgot. bartinman.com. That's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
Eggland's Best. The only eggs with more fresh and delicious taste, plus superior nutrition. Available in so many delicious varieties. Classic, cage-free, organic, free-range, and pasture-raised. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Family-focused, faith-filled, always on point. It's the Annie Fry Show.
Took her out, it was a Friday night. I woke alone to
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. We're grateful that you're here with us this afternoon. I want to get to our guest. Paul Mauro joins us. We're excited to have you with us. He's a Fox News contributor, retired NYPD inspector and attorney. Paul, thank you for being here with us today. It's good to have you.
Thanks for having me, Annie.
Well, you know, I just as a little bit of information here on me in this show, we are in St. Louis, but I live in Illinois. So I've been a voter in the state of Illinois my whole life, and watching issues come and go in a very blue state, crime and the safety of the citizens of the state have really driven politics everywhere else but Cook County. And we're watching right now as J.B. Pritzker and the politicians in Chicago, including the mayor, are pushing away the president's help. I'm wondering what your assessment is based on the mayor saying, you know, we've got the police officers here. We don't need the feds to come in and take over, put tanks in our streets. What are your thoughts when you hear this back and forth?
Well, what I really think in my heart of hearts is that J.B. Pritzker is willing to sacrifice citizens of Chicago on the altar of his presidential ambitions. And let's be really frank. We all know that who dies? Young black men, young men of color, primarily young black men in the inner cities. And that's who's dying. Just ask Gianno Caldwell, another Fox News contributor who lost his brother in Chicago. 54 people shot, 7 DOA just over the weekend. For comparison purposes, New York City over the last month had 69 shooting incidents over a month, and we're 3 times the size of Chicago. So it's a shooting gallery, but of course it's not a shooting gallery anywhere around J.B. Pritzker when he takes his 6 a.m. walk with his security detail along the waterfront. And the people who are dying are fellow Americans. What a waste of human capital and never mind the family and friend aspect of it. That's a given. But these are Americans, and we're losing them because these bums won't do the basics to keep these people safe.
You know, I think of somebody with a mind like yours that understands police work and how the investigative systems working in the NYPD. I'm sure you've seen a whole host of things. I'm wondering if you think that the solution in Chicago is it a simple one? Is it more officers, more LEOs out there working? Do you feel like the crime problem in Chicago could be solved fairly quickly with the right policy?
I don't. And I know it's counterintuitive coming from me, but I really don't. And here's why. After the George Floyd incident, we need to do a little bit of history. The left, that is the far left, not the typical traditional Democrats, which these days are dinosaurs that are vanishing. So the hyper-progressive left saw their opportunity, and through the aperture of the post-George Floyd environment, they pushed through all of the criminal justice reforms. It was a real wish list of the defense bar, and you realistically couldn't say no to any of it, otherwise you were immediately going to be branded a fascist, a racist, and all the other ists that they throw at us. So consequently, they got the wish list through here in New York, and then Illinois writ large decided to copy all the worst ideas of New York in the Safety Act and institutionalize the bail reform, the discovery reform, all of those things. And that's the problem this time around. They knew what they were doing because it was a rare opportunity for them. Consequently, that stuff is institutionalized. So you could add 10,000 cops. But if the prosecutors won't make the case, if the jails won't hold the perpetrators who are recidivist cops who perpetrators rather, who the cops keep arresting, and if you continue to do this raise the age stuff, where children who are growing up without good parental guidance, in many instances without fathers, who don't feel the brush of the criminal justice system early on to try to right the ship and put them on the straight and narrow, why would they fear the system when they're in and out at 14, 15, 16, 17? And of course, by then, as the Jesuits used to say, give me the child till 7 and I have the child for life. Well, give me the child until 17 and you bet I have them for life. So I don't want to play social engineer, but bottom line is we could double the size of the Chicago Police Department. The institutions there are against these bull cops.
Yeah, it's a really compelling answer. I appreciate that. Paul Mauro speaking with us right now, retired NYPD inspector, attorney, and Fox News contributor. When you watched Donald Trump, different situation in the District of Columbia being a territory and right there in Washington, D.C., of course. But when you watch him essentially flood the zone there, I heard it might have even been from you, maybe on Outnumbered, but that the plan was to put the guard in there in the district in the main areas, but then give the police the opportunity to go out into the areas that were more troubled, and the local police there understand the lay of the land, they understand the crime there, so that they could go deeper into the situation because they had the manpower to do that. Do you feel like the community in D.C. is going to see, okay, there's something different here. There's a different way of life that we can have. It is possible.
I think that the people who are primarily affected by this stuff will and do. You see them interviewed all the time in various media outlets, and not just in Fox. This is one where moderate Democrats have actually risen a little bit. Why? Because they have to live there. And once it affects them, then all of a sudden they're going to start chirping up. The problem is that the real dyed-in-the-wall left just cannot countenance anything that comes from Donald Trump. We should recognize that there's ample precedent for using the National Guard for the purposes of public safety or to enforce federal law, which is where D.C. kind of sits because it's already federalized. Much easier for Donald Trump to do what he's doing in D.C. than it is for him to do it anywhere else in the nation. So you see the interviews with people who live in housing projects and in rough areas saying, thank God they got more cops here. Every cop has the story that he goes on a noise complaint up in a housing project, knocks on the door, tells the people they need to turn the music down, and then when he goes to leave, the neighboring door cracks open a little bit, and a neighbor says they're dealing guns in that apartment, they're dealing drugs, they're running prostitutes out of that apartment, and that's what the call was really about. I don't care what neighborhood it is, black, white, green, or red, 99% of people in that neighborhood are good people. They tell you that right in the academy, and every cop's experience bears that out. The problem is that those are not the loudest voices. Those are very often the voices that nobody will speak up for. So in terms of what the atmospherics are in D.C., I think the people on the ground appreciate it, but they're not the ones with the megaphone. And at the end of the day, the Washington Post will probably get its way, and it'll only last 30 days, and then they're going to have to live with what it was.
Mm-hmm. That's sad. Paul Mauro speaking with us right now. So I want to ask you, I think it's important to ask the question, how did we get here? I know that there are a lot of places that have tried to turn police officer positions into social worker positions. We're here in St. Louis, a stone's throw from Ferguson, where Hands Up, Don't Shoot, which is a complete and total lie, was fabricated off of the Michael Brown situation here.
Right.
Are we still in that same timeline? Is what we're dealing with right now still a Black Lives Matter, Blue Lives Matter problem?
I don't think so. I actually think we've moved beyond that. I think that ship sailed. I think BLM being exposed as such a fraudulent movement and group because of the way the money was spent and all the sort of venal aspects of that came to light. And I also think that finally, it's waking up. The people are waking up that the urban areas in America, the term I've used on the air is that America's blue cities are becoming a nut job archipelago. And that they are becoming quarantine zones for experimenting with some of the worst social justice ideas ever conceived. And it's just very clearly not working. And yet we continue to hear that it is working. And I think people, unfortunately, are voting with their feet. Look at Chicago, since we're talking about it, what have you had? Boeing, Caterpillar, Citadel, Tyson Foods, the New York Stock Exchange, Peak Six Investments. All of these major firms have decamped from Chicago because of the quality of life there and the danger. And so as a result, it becomes a fait accompli because you lose the tax base, you can't hire as many cops. Brandon Johnson himself said that Chicago financially has hit a point of no return. So I think for a lot of people, maybe the majority of the country, I think definitely a majority of the country, it is hit home that this stuff isn't working. So I think we are past the BLM point. The problem is, as I said earlier, those are not the people who hold the levers in these blue towns. And we're still living with the fact that the Democratic Socialists, for lack of a better term, really do seem to have the momentum on the left. It's where the money is, the small donors, the ambition, and the energy. And that's why we're going to get Zoran Mamdani likely as the next mayor of New York City. And it's just going to continue and, in fact, get worse.
Paul Mauro speaking with us. I was going to ask you about that. I'm looking at Chicago, and I'm wondering if you think it can get any worse. And then I'm looking over to New York City and thinking maybe Mamdani is worse, and his relationship and regard for the NYPD there seems to be not in a good place. Is there a rock bottom, or do we continue to dig?
I think there is a rock bottom, and history again demonstrates it. You know, when you've been around long enough, you start to see these cycles. And I went through this as a kid in the 70s and then into the 80s and into the 90s. And it was just received wisdom that you didn't live in New York. If you could get out, you did, if you could at all get out. And it became realistically a city of two classes, the real haves, the 1%, and everybody else sort of living on a handout. And crime was not enforced, and it was all the same stuff. It's just miraculous. He came out of the 60s at the time, and all of the baby boomers and the the Cultural Revolution that went in the 60s. And of course, it bottomed out in the 80s and into the early 90s when New York was known as the quote-unquote ungovernable city. And then we got Rudy Giuliani, who's been much vilified. But he was the Donald Trump of his age here in New York, and he was the only one with the intestinal fortitude to stand up and say, no, we're going to do some common sense things. We can turn New York City around. It can be the city on a hill again, and such it became. The problem this time around is that aside from the fact that I don't see any Rudy Giuliani's on the horizon here, as I said earlier, it's institutionalized. They put it through the legislature. This stuff is concretized in law, and that becomes a much more difficult thing to get out. So right now, we're still plummeting. I do think it has to bottom out at some point, but let's just remember, cities are about specific things. There's a reason they exist. New York's been about money, and that's because we've always had the stock exchange here. You know, this is where the big stock exchange was. All of Wall Street was here. You don't need to be on Wall Street these days to run a hedge fund. You can run it from Alaska. I know somebody that does that. So consequently, I don't know what the engine is going to be to pull New York out this time because it's always been the money. And I don't know that that's going to be it. Same thing goes with L.A. It's always been Hollywood. It's always been that glamour life and everything else. Well, you know, with AI and everything else, these kids are going to be making their movies on their phones.
Yeah.
These cities better recognize that the reason they're there is tenuous. And if the lifestyle is not there to pull people in, they're not going to win.
That is the wonderful advice for those people to heed. Everything is portable right now, and hopefully some of these major stories like in Chicago and the mayor race in New York City will wake some people up, but it's going to throw a few prayers in there for both cities that's the case. Paul Murrell, we hope that you'll come back with us again. We love having you here speaking to these important issues, and we look forward to maybe talking to you again sometime.
Anytime, Annie. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Paul Morrow is a Fox News contributor, retired NYPD inspector, attorney, and founder of theopsdesk.org. I was kind of curious. I thought that maybe when I asked him about, like, if you flood the zone in Chicago with a bunch of officers, can you fix the problem? And he's like, it's deeper than that.
Temporarily, he said, yeah, you can fix it temporarily. It's such an interesting time that we're living in. I mean, taking a step back here, but we're talking about, for real, with guests, how do we save major American cities from destruction?
From themselves.
I mean, think about that. And that's a common thread of discussion throughout the United States right now among multiple cities, not just one, not just Washington, D.C., not just Chicago, but multiple cities are all facing this because just of bad leadership and ideology.
I think, and I'd hedge my bets on this. I know that there's no way to know until we find out for sure. I think that if President Trump is able to go into Chicago with his boots, and if he is in a position to have as much impact on the safety and security of Chicago that he has had in D.C., I keep saying this, folks. And I know it's about 40% of you have the same deep interest in this that we all here in this studio do. You only need 23%, 24% of Cook County. I've heard 22%. I think Bailey in the governor race last year got a 19 or something like that. And he's not a Chicago forward candidate at all.
No, he's a downstate guy.
He's a farmer with a southern drawl, would welcome you into his home and make you a full, delicious meal and sit you down, and you'd feel like you were in the South, and you would be. It'd just be Southern Illinois. He's not the guy that Chicago is going to run towards and be like, save our state. That's just not going to be the case. Would govern well.
Oh, yeah.
But I think it was like 19% of the vote in Cook County.
That's not that far away.
If you put Donald Trump and his law and order mentality, and you fly it directly in the face of Brandon Johnson, the mayor of Chicago, and J.B. Pritzker, America's next failed nominee for the Democrat presidential nomination. And it works. I really can't think of anything better than that platform to run a governor's race, even a Senate race, because Dick Durbin is not running for re-election. We have a Senate seat up. And listen, before Tammy Duckworth was Senator Kirk, and he was a middle-of-the-road. People who are on talk radio would whine about him being a rhino, but way better than Tammy Duckworth as far as the voting record goes, right? Can't we all agree on that? Won't you take, like the Democrats, they'd take a Fetterman over the Republican that would have been there, even though Fetterman probably drives them crazy. We'd take somebody who was I don't like the term rhino, but many people would label a middle-of-the-road Republican candidate. If you put somebody in those races that says, it's pretty simple here in Illinois. The situation is so messed up. The Democrats and their balanceless and checkless supermajority, superpower in the state of Illinois have wrecked this state so incredibly much that this is going to be about two things: your hard-earned dollar and your ability to feel safe and sound, living in your home, going to work, moving about the state. That's what we're running on. And we've already shown you, Donald Trump, if you're living in a red state right now, if you're not living in a socialist blue state like the state of Illinois, you're feeling pretty good about things right now. Everybody knows that you go across the border to get your gas. Because the crazies in Democrat-controlled Illinois government, they don't do Democrat things. They do far-left Democrat socialist progressive things. They take it way to the other end. And it's flyover country socialism. You do it in New York City, you do it in the state of New York, you do it in California, people pay attention. They don't pay attention when it's in Illinois. But for whatever particular reason, right now, Illinois is front and center for messing everything up every time they have the opportunity to do it. I really think that Donald Trump sending in the National Guard to Chicago to give those people just a taste of you have a choice. There is another option here. And just so you know, this is the type of lifestyle that is offered to you when people stand by law and order for the people who live in this state as citizens of this country, as law-abiding individuals. You have a choice. You may not have felt like it in the state of Illinois before, but you actually do have a choice. Pair that with average to better than average candidates for these races, Illinois has a chance in 2026. Let's take a quick break. YouTube live chat poll. Are you worried about President Trump's health? Let us know what you think on the Annie Fry YouTube channel. We'll be right back.
She took off my pants, but then I turned on the TV. And that's about the time she walked away from me. Nobody likes you when you're 23. And I still more abuse my TV.
HomeShieldFoundationRepairs.com, 314-227-9636, 314-227-9636. Matt Hayes, the owner of this family-owned local business, he's the guy to call when you have a crack in your concrete and it's become a danger. Safety hazard, trip hazard, and it's ugly. You want to fix it. And you want to fix it before it gets too out of control, and then it really costs a pretty penny. 314-227-9636. 314-227-9636. HomeShieldFoundationRepairs.com is the website. You can learn about all the services that they provide you by visiting HomeShieldFoundationRepairs.com. But when it comes to your uneven, your sunken concrete, you use polyjacking, which is an incredibly more cost-effective way to solve and level out this concrete situation that you now have that's a safety hazard. Polyurethane foam gets injected under it, raises the concrete, levels it out. You're not tearing it out, ripping it out, and replacing it, and it comes with a 5-year warranty. 314-227-9636. HomeShieldFoundationRepairs.com.
Men. Need a clinic that accepts all insurance, including Medicare? U.S. Men's Medical Center in St. Peters does. U.S. Men's helps men experiencing loss of energy, focus, concentration, and low libido. And they accept all insurance, even Medicare, for testosterone replacement therapy. Patients love the staff and the fact that, yes, I'm going to say it again, they accept all insurance, including Medicare. Feel better? Call U.S. Men's Medical Center at 636-244-5333. Hey, it's Bo Matthews, and Missouri Brush Control is helping landowners reclaim their property with forest remulching. If invasive plants and trees have overtaken your land, Missouri Brush Control will mulch vegetation where it stands with specialized equipment that is efficient and eco-friendly. Selective land clearing like this can help you maximize your property's value. Enjoy your land like you've always dreamed of. Check out our website or Facebook page for before and after photos and videos of our projects. Learn more at MissouriBrushControl.com. That's MissouriBrushControl.com.
Hello, this is the Annie Fry Show on September 2nd,
Hey.
Tuesday. A reminder that this
Hello.
is the best news you're going to hear all day. Today is Tuesday. Today, the YouTube live chat
If you would have
poll.
said it was Friday, that would have been better news.
Well, that would have been a lie, though, and that would have made you feel bad because
Never
lies
stopped
are
me either.
bad. Are you worried about President Trump's health? Let us know what you think on today's YouTube live chat poll. It's the big question that we ask you every single day. The question is different, but we always have a big one, and we'd like you to participate in that poll and leave a comment as well. 12:38. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
From the gateway to the airwaves. 97.1 FM Talk. St. Louis Conservative.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. We appreciate you being with us this afternoon. Oh, I was supposed to do it like you. Hello.
Hello.
If I do stuff like that, you make fun of me.
Rightfully so, because I don't. If I host, I don't do that weird stuff. Well, that's not true. I just do less of it.
I wouldn't know. I don't listen.
Yeah. Well, good.
I'm usually
Incapacitated.
in some way, shape, or form. Did you have a good Labor Day weekend?
Yeah, it was great because there was nothing scheduled.
Isn't it the best?
On holiday weekends like this, all the sports just assume, oh, you're going to be out of town. So they don't have any games. And I love going to my kids' games, but it's also a great break to have nothing. And we had absolutely nothing all weekend. So we just kind of visited with some people, and I wrote more of a book I started writing. So that was fun. I love writing. And just sat around, did some stuff.
Nothing important.
Nothing important.
Just a few things that you wanted to do.
Yeah.
We had family over for the Notre Dame football game, which I guess at this point I should call the Miami football game. Womp womp.
It was bad, huh?
No, it was a good game. It just didn't end. We lost by field goal. I say we. Notre Dame lost by a field goal. They did not play. I was not as impressed as I usually am watching them. They didn't get out to a bad start.
That's funny because I was very impressed because, as you know, huge Miami fan.
Yeah. What'd you think?
And I came into that game thinking this is probably going to be a down year for us. But
you're a doofus. They were ranked 10.
I was looking at top 9. And we hadn't made it.
Top 9. Everybody seeks to be the top 9.
So since we weren't top 9,
Everyone
I was like,
says, ooh, they cracked the top 9.
So if, for me, that was a huge win. And
it was a huge win.
We're all Miami fans in my household. You know that. We fly the flag. And
what colors are on the flag?
All
of
the Miami colors.
Which ones?
The ones on the Miami flag.
I'll narrow it down. There are 2.
Green and sort of reddish, like a hued orange.
Green and orange.
Yes.
Look how happy you guessed right. You are so full of crap. That's the most accomplished he's ever felt on this show before.
No, that's not true. It was in the time check when I said it was Tuesday. That was a glorious moment too.
I didn't pay a lot of attention to the news this weekend. There wasn't a whole lot. It seemed like the driving news story was very much so crime. People were talking about Labor Day crime. The Trump administration wants you to understand that gas is lower than it's been in Labor Days recently. And again, if you're in the state of Illinois, you get frustrated seeing that gas is still $3.50 a gallon, maybe a little bit lower than that in some places.
Yeah, and that's a weird story because it is true. It's one of those things where the administration in power goes, hey, you know what? Here's the stats. And you go, you know what? That may be true. But you're not feeling like, oh my gosh, I have so much more money in my pocket because gas is so much lower. So it's one of those talking points that you're like, I have to acknowledge that is true. It is a little lower. but it's not as low as I'd like it.
And that's because we live in a blue state.
But that's true. That's true.
I mean, and it irks me quite a bit when I'll see, I don't really still connect on Facebook with people who I actually love dearly in real life who post a lot of political things that I don't agree with. And this is an AF policy that I have developed probably in the last 8 or 9 years. If I have family or friends that disagree with me politically in real life, which I guess maybe eventually we're going to have to stop calling non-digital life not real life because it very much is a part of our reality. But if I know you in real life and I interact with you in real life and politics would never come up in those real life situations, I do not want to dislike you when I see you privately and quietly, or be frustrated, or see you and think anything about what you feel about any political thing. I just want to like you for you. Like, politics doesn't have to integrate itself into every relationship we have, every interaction we have. It really doesn't in real life. Are we to a point where our digital social lives and the ability to be a 24/7 bulletin board about whatever you think about whatever, like really bold opinions that you have? We remember a time when that was none of anybody else's business. And you'd have to be in a pretty close proximity relationship to ever get into those conversations if you agreed on things, let alone a step further if you disagreed on things. So my policy is, if you're somebody who posts things that I am like, that's ridiculous, I still am friends with you, but I just unfollow it so I don't see it, so that I'm still happy to see you. But I presume that those people are not happy to see me. It's a weird thing.
I just presume everybody, excuse me, is happy to see me.
I believe that. That tracks.
Like, even
Most
if I don't
people
know.
are probably happy to see you.
You know, you just got to walk into a room and just light it up with your smile like you're Mary Tyler friggin' Moore. That's my philosophy.
Is it working for you?
Yeah, it's going great.
I'm going to pick a random room. I want to video it.
I don't want to test it.
I really do on camera. You know, for like real life purposes. Let's take a break. Weekends America, when we come back, we'll get to everything we missed. A lot of interesting like news developments, news headlines we're going to get to when we come back in the Monday Roundup with a special Tuesday opening. So I'm told, in Wiggins America next.
Good night, that tonight's gonna be a good night, that tonight's gonna
TheDinamorGroup.com, 618-531-4652. 618-531-4652. Tammy Dinamore, my realtor, and hopefully yours, or if you partner up with them and you hire that 50-plus years of experience working with Tammy and Zach and Pat and Abby and Trisha, the best in the business, as indicated by being the #1 team in the #1 office in the Metro East with RE/MAX Alliance. You have experts at your fingertips when you work with the Dinamore Group. So I'm in the part of that conversation with Tammy where I'm like, do I need to do this? Do I need to spend thousands of dollars replacing that? And she's like, I think you do. And then how about this? And she's like, probably not. So I'm making sure that I spend smart money to get my home prepared to list because I want to make sure I get top dollar for it. So I'm going with the experts. She's giving me the honest truth. I'm grateful for it. I can always make my decisions as to what my husband and I want to do with our investment in our home to list it. But I'm going to be honest. I don't know when I'm going to actually list my house. But I'm talking to her right now because when I do put it on the market, it 100% is going to be with the Dinamore Group. 618-531-4652. Give them a call. Tell them Annie sent you. Or look them up online at thedinamoregroup.com.
Bold, unapologetic, unfiltered. The Mark Cox Morning Show is covering the issues that matter to you. From borders to school boards, Mark Cox is St. Louis conservative.
If your kitchen's not even functional and you can't stand the look of your bathroom, stop just living around the problem. Let Lakeside Renovation and Design help you love your home again. From spa-like bathrooms to these beautiful, functional, custom kitchens to a finished basement, their in-house team over there at Lakeside, they're going to help bring any vision you have to life. They're going to walk you through every step of the process, the planning, the permits, all the things we don't like to do. They take care of it. You just have to dream. And they have financing options like 0 payments, 0% interest for 24 months. Schedule your free consultation today. It's lakesiderd.com.
Get this, 42% of baby boomers don't even know how much money they have in their nest egg. If you're not sure where you stand in terms of getting ready for retirement, you should be listening to the All Financial Hour with Steve All.
Let's sit down and talk about your questions, because I think that's the most important thing that it is out there. It's what questions do you have?
Tune in to the All Financial Hour with Steve All, Saturday mornings at 6, right here on 97.1 FM Talk.
Annie Fry, Ryan Wiggins, Brad Range. It's the Annie Fry Show.
Wiggins. Monday round. This here's the wildest ride in the wilderness.
When'd you make that?
Oh, a year ago.
What song is that?
When I realized that's Tuesday Afternoon by the Moody Blues.
What decade are they from? The 80s? 70s?
Yes, and 60s. Actually, if they started in the 60s, I would say most of their biggest songs were in the very early 70s.
I am from the generation that hears that song, just that little Tuesday Afternoon thing, and think, I wonder if that song was in Forrest Gump.
No.
No, it should have been.
It was not.
I bet there was a Tuesday Afternoon in that movie.
What is Moody Blues' biggest song?
Everybody knows.
You know it.
I'm sure I do.
You're a huge Miami fan.
I'm not. I never suggested I was. The only Miami song I know is the one by Will Smith.
Okay.
Kevin, Ami.
Brad, biggest Moody Blues song.
Bienvenido.
Couldn't tell you.
Nights in White Satin, guys. Nights in White Satin.
That doesn't even.
You know it.
I don't even know that song. Sing it.
Nights in white satin, never reaching the end. Letters I've written, never meaning to send. You want me to keep going?
I do.
Beauty I'd always missed with these eyes before.
I hope Steve just tuned in.
Oh, we're fired.
No, you're fired.
I'm fired.
That's the difference.
All right, these are the stories you missed over the weekend. The first one would be that who's your favorite representative on the Democrat side?
Rep?
Yep. House Rep.
I don't know that I have one.
It's Jerry Nadler. And you're wrong. It's Jerry Nadler. And he will no longer be in Congress.
I probably don't know the name of my favorite one, because all the ones that make a name for themselves, they are not my favorite.
If you don't know who Jerry Nadler is, he's been in Congress for 34 years. I'm not.
He's the one. He of all the people in Congress, he's the one I feel most sorry for when people make fun of his appearance.
I'm trying to reference him so that people know who he is if you don't know his name.
Do it without describing his appearance.
He is a former boxer, and so he tries to make sure you can't hit him below the belt.
You're so awful. You're so
Jerry
awful.
Nadler.
You're so awful.
Jerry Nadler has been in Congress for 34 years, and he has announced he will not.
He's not a former boxer. He's going back to boxing.
He just wears pants kind of high.
You better apologize to that.
I am very sorry for saying that about Jerry Nadler, though it is true. Next one is that Rudy Giuliani, who Paul Morrow was just talking about in that interview, was involved in a very strange car crash over the weekend. Did you guys see any about this?
I found it interesting that very quickly it was put out there that it wasn't a targeted attack.
Me too. That's how I saw the story.
There was a story that was Giuliani injured in bad car accident, and in there it said like he was doing Good Samaritan stuff, which is kind of what caused the accident. And then I don't know, it felt like it was within 30 minutes. They're like, not a targeted attack.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
the statement was put out, and you're like, I didn't even know there was an accident, but now I know that it wasn't a targeted attack. Here's the story. Giuliani, former attorney for President Donald Trump, and of course New York mayor, and his driver, who was named Goodman, I think it was Paul Goodman, were flagged down by a woman on the side of the road who said she had been involved in a domestic violence incident. So I don't know if she was just flagging down anybody, but she flagged down.
No, she was just waiting for Rudy
Giuliani, and they pulled over. So Goodman pulls over, and Giuliani gets out. They report the incident to law enforcement, so they called in and said, hey, this is going on just after 9 p.m., Goodman and Giuliani remained at the scene with her until police arrived, and they told troopers what they had witnessed and that they had seen two men leave the scene and leave her there. So this was happening like right then. Minutes after getting back on the highway after troopers arrived, their car was struck in the back by a Honda HR-V carrying Goodman and Giuliani. The crash happened almost directly across the street from the scene of the reported domestic violence incident. Police officers who were already there responded to that crash then, and they put out a statement, like you said, immediately saying that there was no connection to the initial domestic violence incident. Wasn't somebody trying to get back at him or anything like that.
And then he got the Medal of Freedom.
Wait, I missed this part.
Trump says he will award Rudy Giuliani the Presidential Medal of Freedom. It'll be the first of Trump's second term.
Oh, interesting. I did not see that news.
I don't think you have this in your stack of stories here, so I'm going to add it to the Jerry Nadler not seeking re-election. Senator Joni Ernst of Iowa has just announced she will not seek re-election.
Also true. Yes.
And Ashley Hinson is a representative, former broadcaster, news TV broadcaster, is in Congress right now and is intending to seek that seat in Iowa, the other Iowa seat currently held by Chuck Grassley. I didn't see Joni Ernst getting out of the Iowa Senate seat before Chuck Grassley, who is in his 90s, I believe.
Whew. Yeah, me either. The other lady you just mentioned, is she Republican?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
There are Democrats that are seeking the seat as
Okay.
well, but Ashley Hinson is the Republican favorite, according to the Fox News article. They definitely line these things up so that it's like Joni Ernst out, Ashley Hinson in. She gets the blessing, and that's probably been baked in the cake for some time.
Right. Okay.
There are other Republicans in Iowa probably going, well, I'd like a stab at that, but...
She's one of the few senators from outside this area that I've ever met, and I think she probably remembers it as well as I do.
What'd you do?
I said hello.
Did you sing her that song?
Knights in White Satin? No. I sang her Melancholy Man by Moody Blues instead.
I don't also know that song.
I'm a melancholy man. She's like, this is supposed to be a fun event. All right, next story.
Were you the hired entertainment? Were you the jester?
If even a portion of anything that I ever say happens in these events actually happens, nobody'd ever forget it. Are you guys fans?
The next time I hear Knights in White Satin in the wild, because I don't know that song, and you singing it didn't trigger it, but you did sing it well.
Thank you.
When I hear it, I'm going to be probably in a serious place, and I'm just going to start laughing.
Oh, yeah, you will.
You got me.
You'll be at a grocery store. That one still gets played. Very little other Moody Blues
If I'm in
songs
a
get
Ruler
played.
Foods and Knights in White Satin starts playing, it's going to be like a nexus point of something.
I love you. Yes, I love you.
Oh, that song.
Nope. All right, Pierce Brosnan. Was he the best Bond? That's my question for you here before we get to the end of this segment. Who was your favorite James Bond?
I thought you were going to say Bond, and I was going to say Polly.
What?
Polly Bond. It's for your dentures.
Oh, yeah. It's
I
for
don't.
your dentures.
Never seen one.
You've never seen a Bond film?
The closest thing that I know of James Bond is Austin Powers.
Brad, have you ever seen? Are you a Bond fan?
Yeah.
Which is your favorite actor?
I'm tied, toss up between Pierce Brosnan and Sean Connery.
See, I think that's a generational thing because I haven't even seen much of the Sean Connery
Is
films.
Sean Connery the OG?
Yes, he's
There's
the original.
nobody who went before him.
No. But I think Pierce Brosnan, I like Daniel Craig too. Pierce Brosnan has said, here's the news item, that he would reprise his role if asked, even though he is 72 years old.
He's still very handsome.
He is. He's a silver.
Fox.
He's silver-haired now. He's a silver fox. But he said if asked, they know where to find him. I would love to see that. I would watch that movie. I'm not even a huge
What
Bond
if it
fan.
was like a parody and it was at like a senior center?
Also would watch that. Probably more likely.
It'd be the case of the missing dentures with Bond, Polly Bond. Bye.
That's not a full
you
film.
You said hello before. Can
30
I say bye?
seconds max.
Jim Talent next.
Look to the heavens, you can look to the sky.
Calling all future sportscasters. Sharpen your skills and learn from the best of the Missouri Broadcasters Association Sportscasters Forum Tuesday, September 16th in St. Louis. Join Cardinals beat reporters, broadcasters, and the legendary John Rooney, the voice of the Cardinals, for insider sessions on play-by-play, interviewing, reporting, and more. Then cap the day with a Cards-Reds game at Busch Stadium. Open to college students and broadcasting pros. Just $10 for students, lunch, and a game ticket. Space is limited. Register by September 2nd at MissouriBroadcasters.org.
Guys, it's time to take charge of your health with my friends at Victory Men's Health. Mark Cox here. I already love what they do at Victory. They do hormone optimization, sexual health, weight loss, even vitamin deficiencies. Now they're offering specialty cardiovascular testing and even early detection cancer screening. Visit them at one of their 4 great locations, now in Sunset Hills, Town and Country, O'Fallon, Missouri, and O'Fallon, Illinois. Tell them Mark Cox sent you. Go to victorymenshealth.com.
Why do the national tax resolution firms need the tiny fine print at the bottom of all their TV ads? Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. You don't hear fast-talking disclaimers in our ads because the claims we make are 100% transparent. The Lance Drury Law Firm primarily focuses on one thing, IRS problems, and we're regulated by the Bar Association, and we have a AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau. IRS issues are serious legal issues. The Lance Drury Law Firm has helped thousands of clients navigate the best resolution plans, and we tell you up front exactly how much it'll cost. Tax resolution law is all we do. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Lance Drury Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Call today to schedule your free consultation with me, 314-260-6120, or visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw with Retirement Advisory Group. Are you worried about market volatility? Are you concerned your money won't last you through retirement?
Hi, I'm Tammy Kershaw, and as a family-owned business, we are committed to protecting your retirement, whether you're nearing retirement or already retired. We have a lot of folks that aren't aware of all the new investment choices that are available, which give you growth and protection from losses at the same time. Are you aware of all the fees that you are currently paying? We can show you how to avoid those fees. So come in now for your free retirement review and get a second opinion on your retirement plan. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. Let us show you how to retire with confidence.
We are proud to say we haven't lost a penny of our clients' money in 39 years, and we won't lose a penny of yours either. Let our family help your family. Call us now at 314-993-9494 or go online to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
Pressure on Capitol Hill. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News, as Congress returns from a summer break facing an end of September deadline to avoid a government shutdown.
In a letter to his Senate colleagues, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer says he and House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries are aligned on our shared priorities. Where Republicans, quote, threaten shutdown, we hold them accountable. Schumer faced significant criticism back in March for his decision to vote to break the filibuster on a Republican-led government funding deal.
Fox's Ryan Schmelz on Capitol Hill. Jeffries also sending a letter to his caucus telling members that Republicans have failed to deliver for the American people on that Democrats' message is, you deserve better. The president has argued Democrats were destroying America, and he's restoring it. And he's pledging again to solve a crime issue in Chicago, where the mayor and governor keep pledging to resist federal intervention, like the surge, including National Guard troops in D.C. The president expected to announce soon that Space Command headquarters will move from Colorado to Alabama, reversing a Biden decision not to move it. A final pretrial hearing today for Ryan Ruth, the man charged in a second Trump assassination attempt on a Florida golf course last year. He's representing himself after firing his public defenders, though the judge told them to remain on standby.
Now, Ruth is expected to face challenges as his trial moves forward. Communication between Ruth and the judge about legal proceedings took up a lot of time. She explained how the trial will work, making it clear to him that he cannot give lengthy objections. She ordered the shackles be removed and is requiring him to wear business attire after prosecutors raised concerns that he might wear political clothing.
Fox's Dana Marie McNichol. Ruth asking the judge to exclude some evidence and to admit several letters he wrote, though it's past the deadline. Jury selection begins Monday. America is listening to Fox News.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduce stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
A reinforcing cold front on the way, but not getting here until Wednesday evening. Partly sunny skies this afternoon, 82, 62 tonight, mostly clear. That moon getting fuller and fuller. The full moon's over the weekend. Wednesday, partly sunny, a couple of scattered showers and thunderstorms, but Wednesday's a warm day, 87. Thursday, how about a high, maybe 70? This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live, sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. If you need a new air conditioner installed this summer, call a company you can trust to install your AC properly. That will get your home cool and comfortable fast. For a free estimate on a new air conditioner, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Annie Fry, Ryan Wiggins, Brad Ring.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride. What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
For goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
Put in place systems to issue expedited visas with biometric checks conducted prior to arrival for children and their immediate accompanying family members. And we have done the same for all achieving scholars and are in the process of doing so now for the next group of students from Gaza who have been awarded fully funded scholarships and places at UK universities so they can start their studies in autumn this year.
So there you have, coming out of Parliament, a discussion about this is really kind of an interesting development. The UK Home Secretary Cooper. Students from Gaza are going to receive expedited UK visas. They're going to get fully funded scholarships so that they can start school right away. There's a lot of discussion taking place about the migration of Muslim groups into Europe and the reality that these Muslim groups aren't coming into these European communities and assimilating. In fact, it's kind of the opposite. And it seems as though a lot of these European countries are potentially capitulating their way of life, their culture, to make sure that these other individuals who come in who have a very different way of life are feeling welcome and comfortable. Seems to be something that might be coming to a head here soon. Let's talk to our guest. Senator Jim Talent joins us once again, a former United States Senator from Missouri and Congressman, chairman of the Reagan Institute's National Leadership Council. Senator, welcome back. Thanks for being with us today.
I'm glad to be with you.
Well, I'm glad to have you as well. I was curious about your thoughts on the integration of these migrant Muslim entities that have been, it seems like, at least on the public face, very welcomed into these European countries. What are your thoughts on this? What kind of impact will this migration have on European culture and their ability to live by the laws that they've had? Of course, Muslims coming in live by Sharia law. It seems as though there could be trouble brewing if it's not there already.
Yeah, I listened to your introductory comments and I thought to myself, what can I add really to what Annie has said, because you've summed up the problem. I mean, they have allowed in mass immigration as we did during the Biden administration, the difference being that a very huge percentage of these people, there are Muslims, and many of them come from places like Gaza. And so it creates several problems for the British and French leadership, and indeed the Germans also and the Swedes have this issue. One of them is a political problem. 6% of the population of Britain is now Muslim, and they identify, as a separate faction, if you will, as a separate community. You're right; they obviously have very different cultural traditions regarding things like, women and gays and a secular public square and all of that. And let's just take Britain. So the Labour Party relies on them in many constituencies for votes. and they're not necessarily inclined to vote Labor if Labor does not pay attention to things that are important to their communities, which is on one level understandable. There's 4 independent Muslim MPs in the House of Commons, and there are many Labor members who couldn't win without Muslim votes. So is that going to affect their immigration policies? Is that going to affect their foreign policy? You bet, just on a straight political level. And then when you look at how the non-Muslim left has adopted Gaza, that's their new big thing. And so they're joining that to it. And then you get things like, we're going to put people up in expensive hotels and we're going to provide them all these benefits, while at the same time as we're trying to cut benefits for native Britons, which causes unrest, factionalism on the part of the people who've always been there, who say, wait a minute, whose country is this? And huge number of protests in Britain now. They're flying the Union Jack and other flags, and that's very unusual for Britain. The French will turn out on the streets, for almost any reason, but not the Brits. So this is a huge problem. And the irony of it is, it hasn't changed anything. We can talk about this if you want, but It not only hasn't changed anything in Israel, I think it's actually solidified the intentions of the Israelis to control parts of the Gaza Strip. We can get into that if you want.
Well, I think when I'm listening to you explain some of the policies that have been put in place in Europe for these migrant Muslims and the benefits that are being afforded to them and taken away from the taxpayers that are funding them, kind of a welcome wagon that's been set out to bring these people in. It doesn't seem like it's what's best, at least in that magnitude, for preserving the culture of the country. But it also sounds a lot like you could be talking about migrants coming to New York City and being put up in fancy hotels and being provided debit cards. Like, we might be doing the exact same thing here, maybe not so much now under President Trump. But do these Europeans feel as though this is enriching the life of the resident there in any of these European countries?
No, well, I don't know what they feel like. I will say this, Annie, I've been around a long time. I have never experienced or seen a crisis of the elites, if you want to call it that, anything approaching this. They're isolated from the population. They act like they don't care, and after a while you simply assume they don't care, that they think they're better than the people they're governing. They adopt policies which anybody could see would have a significantly negative effect on the day-to-day lives of people in terms of crime, social services, yes, a crisis in the culture. And not only they let in millions of people, but it's almost like they had a plan not to assimilate them. Because what you would do if you brought them in is you would make very clear the areas where in our society we have certain rules about how we treat women, for example, about how much the government, does the separation, of religion and the state. I mean, a whole set of things, how we treat gays, the tradition of the rule of law, and make clear that they're going to have to follow it, and also make clear, by the way, that if they're coming to the country, that they should be there to contribute something, not to get welfare benefits. I mean, it's a magnet for people to immigrate. And then, when and of course, many Muslims, the amazing thing is that many Muslims have assimilated. The other thing is they apologize for their own history, their own culture. They act like they've done a tremendously terrible thing to other people in the world, which is not the way to promote patriotism and love of country among new arrivals. So, yeah, they've done everything. And then on top of how they handled the pandemic, the enormous explosions in debt there, their governments aren't any better than California is on, like, building things. And people just lose confidence. It's a crisis of legitimacy.
Yeah.
I've been listening to a lot of podcasts, and the people who are very knowledgeable about this are really concerned about major civil unrest in Britain and France and in other countries in Europe. And it could become an issue for us to have to deal with from a foreign policy perspective.
I was reading a post, I can't remember the author of it on X, but was talking about how the population of these countries, that in 10 years' time, the population in some of these countries might shift to being potentially not necessarily 50% plus, but a majority Muslim. And they have an entirely different set of rules and laws that they abide by. I would think that America does have an interest in making sure that these European countries are going to abide by the same principles in the EU and in our partnerships and defensive relationships that we have had, that we are going to be advocating for the same things. I'm looking at what's taking place between Russia and Ukraine, hoping that that is still headed towards peace, but maybe that might be on a little bit shakier ground right now. If some of these European countries become less interested in the Western way of life, then I think I'm assuming we would have an alliance concern in the future.
Yeah, and they're responding to it instead of doing what we're doing here. I mean, you mentioned the president before. Well, what the Trump administration is doing, I support all the individual policies, or virtually all of them, but it's also restoring the credibility of the system because it's showing people that a political solution is possible and will really work. In other words, you don't have to take to the streets, because you can go to the ballot box and you can get real change. And whatever you think about what Trump's doing, it's real change, right? And it's change along the lines that he promised. So I'm very hopeful, as they finish cleaning house, that they're going to restore the credibility of our networks of experts and elites. I mean, look at what they're doing with public health. A lot of that is designed to recreate a sense of trust and transparency, in that community. Well, it hasn't happened in Britain yet. And the populist parties there are growing in strength, but the unrest is getting worse and worse. And it's a problem. They're responding by trying to censor people, which is a classic response of an embattled, isolated elite. Vice presidents pointed that out to them. It's not going to work. People are not going to stand by while there's crime in their communities, while their social services are overwhelmed, and while people are running down their country, their history, and their traditions. So it's a problem. I mean, as I said, I'm not exaggerating. I'm very concerned about the stability of Europe going forward because of these things, and they don't seem to recognize it. I mean, you just played a clip. I mean, how popular do you think that policy is going to be in Great Britain?
Not very. Not very at all. Last question before we let you go. We're speaking with Senator Jim Talent. Do you feel as though President Trump's imprint on this moment in time, of course, we've seen him sit down with Putin and many meetings with Zelensky, some more explosive than others, but he's working with Netanyahu. He's trying to bring peace to all of these places, but there are these brewing problems that we're discussing right now, the direction that Europe is headed in right now. Is Donald Trump the right man for the job at the right time to try to steer these things back in a direction that is feasible? I mean, that seems like an incredibly massive job for one man to be able to do.
Yeah, I really think he is, because right now we need a leader who's very confident in his common sense convictions, very decisive in support of policies that are, if you step back and look at them, pretty centrist and pretty popular. Okay, so he's not going out to privatize Social Security like W. Bush tried to do, and has, because he was president before, has experience to understand how to get the government to actually do what he wants it to do, so he can deliver. Now, is he perfect? No. I mean, I've thought to myself that at some point, the movement, and I'm in the movement, we're going to need to find a way to explain these policies at a deeper level to people who are sympathetic but uncertain. But he has communicators like Vance and Rubio, like his energy secretary, Lee Zeldin at EPA. Most of them are pretty good at that. But Annie, you're really going to find, I'll just make a general observation. You're going to find politicians who are good at certain things and fit for certain times, and not necessarily at other things at other times. It's very, very rare that you get somebody who can really transcend different eras in different issues. But I'm pleased with what he's doing and willing to give him some running room in the areas where I have some doubts, like on the tariffs. And I think on balance, his second term so far has been very good.
Yeah, it's been impressive from my very novice position of observing his ability to balance, but also have, like, it seems like every issue, domestic and foreign policy related, is a priority. And it seems ridiculous that he's able to juggle as many things as he can that are of this big of a magnitude, but he does seem to be able to manage it.
Well, Annie, I think one of the dangers with the president's style is that he can be so present, people get sick of him sooner than they normally would with the president. I mean, this is a common thing. This is why presidential second terms, one of the reasons, are usually not very good, because I used to say it's like the president's a guest that you invited and you were really glad to have him there, but he's been there a couple of weeks now and you're starting to get sick of him, right? Mm-hmm. So I actually was very glad the president took 3 days off, right? And I wonder if that was deliberate on his part. In other words, whether he's saying to himself, I need to take some time off periodically. I need to let things settle down a bit. I wouldn't be surprised. I have to tell you, he has adjusted as between the first and the second term. And for a man of his age to be able to adjust in the way he has, I think is pretty remarkable. So one of the things I tell people that I like him or don't like him, don't underestimate him.
Amen.
Don't underestimate him.
Do you have any concerns about his health?
I have concerns about his age. I think his health is very good. But, speaking as a man who's getting along in years, every time you go to the doctor, you're kind of wondering what they're going to say, because none of us live forever. But no, he seems to be, and I've known politicians like that. I mean, we all burn out at different rates. Some people going, Orrin Hatch just went strong well into his 80s. Chuck Grassley, he's getting a little old now. He's in his 90s. And I've known others, that they really needed to go in their early 70s, and some of them were smart enough to do it, and some of them didn't. So,
some of them
I'm
president.
crossing my fingers. Yeah, well, there's a classic example. I mean, Biden it was so clear this is why what the press did was, I thought, so dishonorable and so stupid, because it was very clear to anybody who had ever been around Washington that Joe Biden was impaired. And I mean, from day one, Annie, I served with him. He could always put words together. I never thought much of his judgment, but I mean, it was so obvious. And how they thought, I mean, it was such an act of gaslighting to try and convince the American people he was not impaired in some way. It's clear he was.
Right. Yeah. We all have the eyes and the ears to be able to make those obvious judgments for ourselves. And it looks like the American people did. Senator Talent, we appreciate you so much. Please come back again soon. We'd love to have you back.
Okay, Annie. Thank you as always.
Take care. Bye-bye. Former United States Senator from Missouri and former Congressman, Chairman of the Reagan Institute's National Leadership Council, Senator Jim Talent. Always a pleasure to speak with him. We're asking you that question on the Annie Frey YouTube channel. We want to know from you, are you worried about President Trump's health? Very concerned? A little worried? Or not at all? Go to the Annie Frey YouTube channel and vote. We'd love to discuss with you that question that we're asking everyone. We got some responses here on our YouTube poll. Let's start with Janine. She says, not at all. Should I be? Did I miss something? I don't think so, Janine. But I don't know. What is it? The rumors of my demise have been greatly exaggerated. I looked that up before the show, and apparently that is not actually what Mark Twain said, which I was like, oh, that's a bummer. So you can now say that, but just quote me, because I just said it. We'll be right back. Get Ryan back in here. Don't go away. Infinite-vitality.com. Weight loss can be yours at Infinite Vitality. If you've been thinking about GLP-1s, if you've been thinking about fighting to get the life back in your life, the energy, the enthusiasm, and I'm not talking like, you remember back in the days of high school when you're like, oh, I need energy, I'm going to have a jolt. I don't know if you remember that. It depends on when you were growing up. If you're looking for like a caffeine injection into your day, That's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about the ability to meet the expectations, the demands of the day, and not feel like you're just trudging along the entire time. That's what I have gotten at Infinite Vitality. Now, I've been doing hormone replacement therapy with them and also GLP-1s, and I'm doing them combined. I've lost over 10 pounds with them. I'm very proud of that. And I'm going to tell you this also. I'm not like going... I was trying to think of a nicer way to say this. Crazy to the wall to try to lose weight. I'm eating right, and I'm going through my day. I'm doing volleyball practice with my kids. I'm staying active, but I'm not like throwing weight around at the gym. I'm not going crazy because I don't have the time to do that, and I've still dropped over 10 pounds. Thank you to Infinite Vitality. A lot of what you can do with them can be done over the phone. You go see them once, you go through the plan, you find out what you need to do, not what I need to do, but what you need to do. You get a plan going, and you can check in with them regularly, a lot of times over the phone. So even if you're looking at going to Glen Carbon and that's kind of far, it's still worth it. And look at the results that are at the other end. 618-486-1888, 618-486-1888. Make the call. Do it. Infinite-vitality.com.
Hi, it's Mark Cox. When I endorse a product or service on the radio, I take it seriously. I do my research. I did the same when I first met Gloria Lou with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty over 5 years ago. Gloria is here in studio today, and I'll ask the same question I asked you when we first met and before you helped me sell my home. Gloria, tell us, what sets you apart from other agents?
Well, number one is my guaranteed offers. I'm so confident that I'll sell your home at 100% of market value, or I'll pay the difference. Number two is I already have the buyers, so your home may already be sold. I literally have thousands of buyers in my Buyers in Waiting program. This is how I'm able to create higher demand, more offers, and that means more money in your pocket.
Friends, get to know Gloria Lou like I have. Upfront written guarantees with the least hassle. Call Gloria Lou right now at 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888, or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
If you want thick, healthy, gorgeous hair, then you need Hair Volume from New Nordic. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy, Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and NewNordicUSA.com, or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
Rooted in faith, grounded in family. This is the Annie Fry Show.
Out in the country past the city limit sign, where there's a honky-tonk near the county line. The joint starts jumping every night when the sun goes down.
Did you guys see the latest Jasmine Crockett little treat?
Yes, I did.
What's the matter with her? I know what's the matter with her. Texas Democrats are getting it handed to them.
Is she actually losing her seat? I keep seeing different reports that, oh, yeah, and
My
then she
understanding
wasn't.
was that she was drawn out of her district. That doesn't mean, like, she's still in a Texas district. She'd just have to run just like the Democrats in the state of Illinois did with the Illinois 13th. Rodney Davis, who we just had on the show a week or two ago, was my representative. Yes, he's a Republican. He is a Republican that a lot of people that are on the far conservative right would say was a rhino. I appreciated him very much because he represented a could-be purple district as a Republican. And I was very grateful for that. And they redrew the district, so they put Rodney Davis and Mary Miller in the same district, so one of them is going to have to go. And Mary Miller won that primary handily because she is a very, very red Republican. So they did it on purpose. And now the 13th is represented by Nikki Budzinski, who is a Democrat, and one that you never hear about because she knows that she's in a blue could-be purple district. That if Donald Trump sends the National Guard into Chicago and the Republicans in the state of Illinois can ride his coattails in the midterm, could lose.
I like the way that you speak, Annie Fry,
Oh, cut that.
about Illinois and the potential for change of leadership. Cut the whole thing if you cut it.
No, just the part where you said something nice to
No,
me.
thank you. Thank you for the offer. I'll pass.
Yeah, I need you to cut it, actually.
No, thank you.
Oh, man. Brad, did you do anything fun this weekend?
Yeah, well, fun for me. I don't know if other people would find it fun, but
I don't think it matters what other people think if you thought it was fun.
I was able to convert my old work truck to disc brakes on the rear axle, and that was a lot of fun because I like doing weird things like that.
Ryan, what is your thing that is like that nobody else? Because that's like heaven for Brad to be tinkering with his car.
Do I have one of those?
A car? Do you
Yes.
tinker with your car? Your Taurus?
I would say.
I don't know why Tauruses are so funny. I drove 2 of them once. But
Is the Taurus a funny car to name drop?
I think a Ford Taurus is a pretty funny car to name drop.
for sure.
I think anything from Dodge is funny to name drop.
Like a Dodge Stratus.
Do you do you have a habit or hobby that when you're in it, you're like, I think for you it's writing.
It probably is
Like when
writing.
you get in there, it's just next level. It's just so personal.
Yep.
But it's productive.
Well, yeah, the thing is, I will eventually. I guess you could too. You could show people what you did, but my thing is to be public. So it's a weird thing because it's so personal.
But writing is personal.
And
It becomes
if I
public
never
if you're lucky.
publish it, then it's very personal. Or if it never gets made, if I'm writing a script or something. I would say the thing that I've been working on outside of writing, because I did start writing a new novel, and my gosh, why am I doing this?
Because you love it.
Because I love it, is that I've been trying really hard to get a trimmer that works.
A yard trimmer?
Uh-huh.
That's not what I asked you. Brad, I don't have time for that conversation
trying to
right
make
now.
it-
Listen in the 2 o'clock hour, and when we're talking about his weed trimmer, that's when I quit. So, Brad, when you're tinkering, is there an end goal, or is it a project that never ends?
There's an end goal. There is, but because it's a vehicle, that it's a project that never ends.
Does
too.
the car run?
Oh yeah, for sure.
What is it?
It's an old F-250 pickup truck.
Oh.
Have you ever considered making the bed of a pickup truck into a driving pool? Because that sounds fun to me. And I would like to be in that
I
pool.
mean, I was 16 once, so yeah.
Because that's when I
It's
had
like
that
me
idea.
and the bros driving around in a truck with a pool in the back. You
Do
just
you
line it with a
Tried
tarp.
so hard to get this show back,
Did you have any of
and
those?
then I lost it again.
What are yours?
My what?
Your
Now you want to throw it back to me.
Your
what's your
private,
thing, Andy?
Do you
your
know
private
how many
moments.
times I orchestrate these conversations and you guys don't ask me the question back?
See,
I'm not prepared to answer it.
I am right now, though.
We got to go. We got to talk to Link Lauren.
No.
Yes.
He can wait.
No,
we want
he
to hear
can't.
what's going on in your private life.
Wow. Stay tuned and we'll answer that question later in the show. Maybe at 1:47 specifically. And that's if Ryan remembers what the question actually was.
I won't.
Link Lauren, I'm going to ask Link about Jasmine Crockett and this mood that she's bringing to the table. Of course, we know her as the MICDS grad here in St. Louis. Not a bad lifestyle she came out of. The way she's projecting herself right now, it's not really rich kid private school from St. Louis, Missouri, Midwestern stuff, is it? Jasmine Crockett, that's the topic first up. And we're going to ask Link Lauren as well. Are you worried about the president's health? We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Cadillac, blackjack, baby, meet me out back. We're gonna boogie. Oh, get down, turn around, go to town, boot scoot boogie.
0% financing sound good for you if your HVAC system sucks right now, if it's not blowing right now. You want to make sure that you have the experts come out so that you don't end up paying money for a solution that doesn't take care of the problem. Air Comfort Service is there to provide you that solution. When we had issues with both our furnace and air conditioner separate times, when we had those issues arise and I had Air Comfort Service come out both times, they gave us options. So, yes, one of the options was you might want to replace it. Now, the whole unit was original with the house, so it was about 22 years old or so. And you're thinking, gosh, if I'm going to replace this and I'm going to spend 2/3 of the money that I would have to fix it, I might as well just go and spend the money and get a new unit in there. I'm so glad I did, because with energy bills being through the roof, I'm so glad that I have a high efficiency unit in my house that I got done by Air Comfort Service. If you're looking for a way to make it more affordable, they've got 0% financing options for you up to 72 months. That makes getting a new AC or a new HVAC system affordable. Call them at 314-513-0091, 314-513-0091, online at aircomfortservice.com.
Are you nearing retirement and don't know if you have enough money saved to retire? That is scary. Do you have a written retirement financial plan in place? Well, when it comes to retirement planning, the trusted team at Financial and Tax Architects are the best. They've helped people all over St. Louis retire with confidence. And that's what you want. You want to retire with confidence. Now, they offer a one-night, 2.5-hour adult education class called Retirement Planning 101. They hold these at colleges over the St. Louis area and in Illinois. No cost, no obligation, just learning. And at this class, you learn how to avoid costly mistakes, how to maximize your income, how to reduce taxes in retirement. So call them today, 314-888-5101, or visit fta-ria.com and take the first step toward a smarter retirement. 314-888-5101.
The YouTube live chat poll today is, are you worried about President Trump's health? Number of options here. We're asking you to participate by typing in Annie Fry. Go to YouTube and find today's date. Of course, that's where the live stream is, and that's where you can vote. It is 1:32. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
From Hillsboro to Highland, 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
If you have power, use it. I think one of the first things, I would like a progressive Trump. I would like somebody who used the executive pen to say, you know what, we're going to make D.C. a state.
Yeah.
We're going to make Puerto Rico a state.
Yeah.
We're going to abolish the Electoral College.
Yeah.
We're going to enshrine protections for women in the Constitution.
Yeah.
We're going to roll back, because the very
We're going to add more judges on the Supreme Court.
Exactly.
That part. Yes.
So
and guardrails. And guardrails.
Right. I don't want just it to be a default situation. The one thing, without a death, there can't be a resurrection. And the way that we have seen things, they have showed me one thing clearly: get the what you want.
Yep.
And with the people who with you, and leave everybody else alone.
That's exactly what they've done.
You can't be the president for everybody.
Well, D.L. Hughley there talking with Representative Jasmine Crockett, the left darling from Texas, looking for a district to run in maybe the next time around. What is it about Jasmine Crockett that captivates the interest of Americans watching politics? Let's ask our friend Link Lauren, who's back with us, former senior advisor to RFK Jr., political commentator, and your host of Spot On with Link Lauren. Get that podcast. Link, welcome back. Good to have you here.
Hey, thanks for having me, Annie. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. I hope you're doing well. Jasmine Crockett, she's the gift that keeps on giving. Certainly, I love your takes on Jasmine Crockett. I'm going to give you the floor, but she's listing off, or D.L. Hughley's listing off all those things that they would do with a progressive Trump. You think they're ever going to get it, and just Jasmine Crockett going to be in Congress to witness it?
I don't think Jasmine Crockett has much of a future in politics whatsoever. I think on Bad Girls Club on Oxygen, or maybe Real Housewives, that would be great for her. She wants to be an influencer more than anything. It's why she posts videos dancing down the hallways. You know, I've said for months about Jasmine Crockett, she doesn't want to work, she wants to twerk. And that's what we've seen time and time again with these publicity stunts. And then she just keeps unveiling new accents. We almost need a new drinking game, like take a shot every time Jasmine Crockett unveils a new accent, but don't get behind the wheel of the car if you do so. So I don't think Jasmine Crockett has any future in politics whatsoever, let alone presidential politics. No.
I think that her voice has been kind of a wayward one in a progressive Democrat Party right now that clearly has no leader. I think if you have a concise message and a thoughtful way of getting that message out, usually based in policy, the Jasmine Crockett's of the world, they don't get as much oxygen as they do right now. What do you think the message of the Democrat Party is in September of 2025?
I don't think the Democrat Party has any identity right now. I mean, what are they fighting for? Open borders, to keep men and women's sports. They're fighting to keep crime and criminals on the streets. I mean, one thing President Trump is great at doing is putting the Democrats on their back foot where they're defending these indefensible positions, right? He says, I'm going to bring in the National Guard and clean up our nation's capital, Washington, D.C. We're going to make it beautiful again. We're going to make it great again. Now the Democrats are fighting, no, you can't come in and clean up our streets. So he gets them to defend these positions that are wildly unpopular with the, majority of the electorate. So I don't think the Democrat Party has any identity right now besides Trump derangement syndrome. And I don't think Gavin Newsom has an identity, Jasmine Crockett, AOC. Nobody has a strong identity whatsoever.
J.B. Pritzker, who's my governor, I live across the Mississippi River, work in St. Louis, live in Illinois, and he's trying very, very hard to be the face of the Democrat Party, wants to be president. We've known that for quite some time. Do you think he's being successful? He's getting rebuffed by the media on his own side. You know, what about the gerrymandering? He's like, the important thing is Trump. And then he just goes into a Trump diatribe. Is Pritzker getting through to Democrats who might be disenchanted with Trump? Is Newsom? Who's it going to be?
Pritzker has no prayer in presidential politics either. I mean, this guy has no identity, no policies. He does have an appetite, though, that we can see. But no, he has no policies or identity whatsoever, and I just don't think he has a future in presidential politics. I think right now the Democrat Party is so in shambles, they're just glomming on to anybody. Like, oh, could it be Pritzker? He's got money and can form coherent sentences. But when you press Pritzker on the crime in Chicago, he has no answer. You say, hey, 54 people were murdered over the weekend or last night in Chicago. What do you say about that? We got to talk about Trump. Trump's a threat to democracy. A majority of Americans think what's threatening democracy is having criminals on the street, having open borders the last 4 years. So I don't think Pritzker has a prayer. Same with Gavin Newsom. He can put together, these great diatribes and go on TV and look good and greasy, but you have no accomplishments in your own state.
Link Lauren speaking with us right now, the host of Spot On with Link Lauren, a must-subscribe to and listen to podcast. Also, you're a former senior advisor to RFK Jr. There has been I'll say, healthy dose of focus in the Trump administration on making America healthy again. It's very refreshing to see a campaign promise, which was really a joining of forces more than a Trump-led thing. He brought in the RFK Jr. contingency and has utilized RFK Jr.'s passions to try to affect the way we look at health in this country. I'm curious, having worked with him prior to what you're doing right now, do you feel like RFK Jr. is being successful in his role?
Oh, I think he's being so successful at HHS. And one thing we talk about all the time on the campaign, and something RFK would talk about often, is we can't continue politics as usual. The status quo hasn't worked for us in Washington, D.C. for decades. We have the sickest kids on earth. We have a chronic disease epidemic, crisis. We're being poisoned by our food, all of these ultra-processed foods. So clearly the status quo isn't working. And in order to shake that up, you got to have someone who can come in like a wrecking ball and change things. Because if we have another 30, 40, 50 years of the same chronic disease epidemic, what's going to happen to my generation? What's going to happen to Gen Alpha? Because I see more young kids than ever with childhood diabetes, all these comorbidities, all this chronic inflammation. Clearly something's not working. And so I'm so happy he's in there just to shake things up. Let's try something new and see if we can make people healthier.
Link, do you feel like the Maha people are happy with what RFK Jr. has done? You said you are, but do you think that that's reverberated into the people who RFK Jr. did bring to the MAGA movement?
I think a ton of them are happy. I really keep to myself. I can't speak for all the Maha people. One thing about Maha is they love to have open debates in public and say, what about this? What about that? They're very open to that. The Republican Party will have open debates in public. They don't fall in line. They're not sheep, which is what I love so much about it. But I will say, when you see some personnel, especially at the CDC, folks at high levels of public health and government, and they can't define the difference between a man or a woman, basic biology, those folks have to go. Just as an outsider, I'm happy to see some of these folks going and hitting the road, Jack, because they can't even define what a woman is. So why are you working in public health? So something needed to change, and I'm happy that he's in there. I couldn't be happier.
Yeah, I've been very happy, and I've been very intrigued by it as a portion of politics that I wasn't as familiar with. I've been taking it in as it comes and been very happy with what RFK Jr. has been doing. I wanted to ask you about, we were talking about Friday. We wrap up the show 3 p.m. Central here. By the time we got done with the show, I didn't realize that there was some just little chirping that was taking place on social media saying, where's President Trump? Is President Trump okay? And then by the weekend, it was like, is he dead? What is your take, Link, when you see... I mean, people were willing it to become true so much. Like, we played a clip from Governor Walz, who was at a Labor Day event where he's like, we thought we were going to have some news. And then it didn't materialize. He said it will be coming. What do you think about all of that?
Well, first off, I'm going to talk about this on my podcast, too. I think Tim Walz is a really sick person. I think there are major issues there with Tim Walz, in my opinion, just watching Mr. Jazz Hands for the last year since he came into national politics. So I think Tim Walz is a pretty sick puppy. I think President Trump is in incredible health. The guy is out there playing 18 holes of golf. He'll sit and take questions from the press for hours. I think the Democrat Party is just so desperate, and they're so used to Joe Biden that when President Trump takes one day off to be with his grandkids and to be with his family, suddenly they think something's wrong, right? But what about Joe Biden? He used to shout out to dead people in the crowd. Remember, Joe Biden would be like, Jackie, where are you? Jackie, are you in the crowd? They're like, sir, she's gone on to other greener pastures. So no, Joe Biden, he couldn't form coherent sentences. He was falling down, didn't know where he was. I think the Democrat Party is very, very desperate on social media trying to purport this narrative that President Trump is somehow unhealthy or he's going anywhere. I'm here to tell you, President Trump is probably going to outlive all of us. He's going to be here till the cows come home, eating his McDonald's and his Diet Cokes, okay? He's in great health. He has incredible stamina. And even his young staffers, one thing that they talk about all the time in the White House is some of his young staff, they're running to keep up with him, and he's, in his 70s. He's got superhuman energy. I think he'll be around for a while.
Link, Lauren, you've participated in the White House press pool. You've asked questions of President Trump. I saw RFK Jr. might have been with Tucker. I think it was an interview possibly that he did, but he said that he had pegged Donald Trump as a narcissist. And he said in order to be a narcissist, you cannot be an empath. And he said that he sees Donald Trump as very empathetic. So you've been in his presence, you've asked him questions, you've seen him interact with people there at the White House. Do you have an opinion about President Trump's ability to be an empath to the people who are around him?
Well, I definitely think he's empathetic. He loves his kids, his grandkids. One thing you can't take away from President Trump ever, he loves his family. He loves and worships and reveres everyone in his family. I love Grandpa Trump. Whenever we get to see a glimpse of that, we see him in dad mode. I think he's definitely empathetic. Also, President Trump had a really good life before entering presidential politics. If I could have that life for one day politics Trump, I would love to try it out. He had a really good life. I don't think he's in this for fame and fortune. He was already globally famous, known around the world, and wealthy. So I think he's just doing this because he loves the country. He wants to have a legacy. He hated to see open borders. He hated to see crime. And he'd been commenting on politics from the outside for decades. He would call into news shows and really voice his opinion on things, especially during the Obama administration, Bush administration. So I think he's just in this game because he wants to see the country better for his kids and his grandkids.
And Link, I see people coming around to that understanding and they can't believe it because for 10 years we've been told that he's supposed to be a reprobate, somebody who who hates you, hates me, hates everything that is, beneath him and below him, that he would do anything to get ahead. And like to your point, Link, Lauren, when he sets aside everything that he has and he loses a lot in doing it, he's starting to be more widely acceptable as, dare I say, lovable. And that'll be the final straw for the Democrat Party because their policy has been get Trump, hate Trump for so many years.
No, once you spend time with Trump and you watch him and you witness him, not the version of Trump you see on MSNBC, or excuse me, MS now that they've rebranded. When you see the real Trump, nice, funny, friendly, loves his country, quick on his feet. That is the President Trump I think if people saw more of, they go, oh my God, I love this guy. But he already won the popular vote in every single swing state. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like he's not beloved and people don't love him. And I think the Democrats, they don't have anybody who can compete, right? Gavin Newsom doesn't seem authentic. These folks can't do long form podcasts. You ask them yes or no questions, they skirt around it. President Trump, what he has in spades is authenticity. And that's something that can't be taught or replicated, no matter how many consultants you have and how much money you spend. And so I think that authenticity is what's carried him through and why people love him so much.
So much. Link, Lauren, a pleasure to have you here. Please come back.
Thanks for having me.
Love your Jasmine Crockett takes. I watch every single one of them that I see. Make sure you subscribe to his podcast as well. Link, come back. We'll have you back soon.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye. Link Lauren is host of Spot On with Link Lauren. Megyn Kelly is producing that podcast, or is that what you would say? It's her network. She's done so well for herself. She's maybe my top, like if I have, I don't know, I don't like to use the word idol. What's the appropriate way to indicate that she's who I...
Role model.
Role model. Yes. A more biblically appropriate term. Yeah. But I would say role model in a lot of ways. When she was on Fox, she was so fierce. She always appeared to me to be her own person, as if what she was bringing to the table is from her, not a pre-programmed thing. And I always felt like if someone told her, this is what you're going to do, she'd be like pound sand. And I loved that about her. Incredibly smart, obviously incredibly beautiful. And her podcasts, which you can watch on YouTube, among other places. Now she's putting other people in a position to have success. Link Lauren is one of them. And I'm so grateful he comes on the show with us. It's great.
It's interesting how many people have come out of the Fox News world, and some of them, they'd be big names. I'm thinking of Chris Wallace in particular. And they leave Fox and they do not thrive. And yet other people like her, like Tucker, they leave Fox and they create a completely new brand and they do great.
Both Tucker and Megyn Kelly left Fox on terms where the audience wasn't saying, get rid of them.
Correct.
Megyn Kelly left for her own purpose. She wanted to do a midday show and have a different lifestyle, and Tucker got canned.
Right.
So both of them left with the audience still wanting more. Chris Wallace, I don't know if that was the case.
No.
All right, let's take a quick break. More Annie Fry Show in just a minute. Don't go away.
Take me to your best friend's house, going around this roundabout, oh yeah. Take me to your best friend's house, I love you, baby, I love you.
HomeShieldFoundationRepairs.com, 314-227-9636. When the concrete that has been cracked starts to become unlevel and dangerous, you do need to get a solution to it. And, of course, if you're like me, you'd be looking for the most cost-effective way to do it. What is even cost-effective these days? That's open to interpretation, I suppose. Definitely ripping that concrete out and replacing it is going to cost a pretty penny. Maybe it's what you have to do. But when you call Matt Hayes, who owns and operates locally here, Home Shield Foundation Repair, he'll come out and see what you're talking about. So he'll give you like an assessment of the situation so you know what you're getting into before you have any obligations of any kind. Matt Hayes can help let you know, okay, we can do polyjacking here. We can take that polyurethane foam, inject it under the concrete, raise it up. I'll put a 5-year warranty on top of that, and you'll be good to go. Or if the project is a bigger one than he can handle, he's going to tell you that, and then you'll know what you need to know. Call him at 314-227-9636, 314-227-9636, residential or commercial alike. He's there to help you out. HomeShieldFoundationRepairs.com.
Mark Reardon isn't here to echo talking points. He challenges them. Smart, fast, and always original. The Mark Reardon Show. Weekdays at 3 on 97.1 FM Talk. St. Louis Conservative.
Hey guys, it's Mark Reardon. If you're struggling with low energy, performance issues, or weight gain, Game Day Men's Health has got you covered with testosterone therapy, ED treatments, and more in all of a relaxed man cave environment. At Game Day, you'll get a free testosterone test and consultation, all in just 1 hour. Game Day is the premier men's health clinic with locations in Chesterfield, O'Fallon, Missouri, and Glen Carbon, Illinois. Visit GameDayMen'sHealth.com. That's GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Get back in the game with Game Day Men's Health.
Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how to link to the market without the risk. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go online to retirementkey.com.
Hi, Chad Hansen with Hansen's Tree Service. If your trees are looking sick or if you have insects that aren't welcome in your landscape, Hansen's can help. Our plant healthcare program offers tree and shrub fertilization as well as pest management to maintain a great-looking landscape. Check us out at hansenstree.com.
Smart talk, strong values. This is the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
While he was scheming, I was beaming in the beamer just.
You can't sing this song?
No.
What was the White Knight one that you were singing before?
Nights in White Satin.
Oh.
This is your Nights in White Satin.
Dang right it is.
You lost about 75% of your audience just now.
I'm aware that my taste in music is lacking. Let's just put it that way. I'm just saying when you sing the song, you have to walk a certain way.
I don't dislike that song, by the way. I just don't. I could never sing a word of it.
I'm not going to sing it.
No, really? Sure?
No.
Are you sure?
Classic example of a song that, like, when you're singing in your car and you're getting 20% of the words right.
Yeah.
But you're killing it, man. And if anybody saw you, it'd be the most embarrassing thing that had ever happened to you.
Well, anyway, though, what's going on in your private life?
What do you mean?
Remember we were talking about this 2 segments ago, and you said I would forget by the time we got here?
That wasn't the question. What's going on in your private life?
Mm-hmm. It was something like that.
No.
That's what I wrote down.
False.
What am I supposed to ask you?
That's what I said was going to happen. You'd forget.
It was something like that, though.
Your question to me later on the show is, what was the question I was going to ask you? I stand affirmed.
Oh, no, I still asked you what was going on in your private
President
life.
Trump from the White House is about 50 minutes late, 45 minutes late. He was supposed to have a 1 o'clock Oval Office announcement, but per usual, they're late. That's just that's what you get to do when you're the president. Is announcing that they're moving Space Force headquarters to Huntsville, Alabama, and he says it's to be known as Rocket City.
Huntsville, Alabama. He's going to rename it Rocket City, eh? And think you could do that through executive fiat.
I don't think. No, it's in quotations. I don't think he's changing the name of the city. I think he's trying to make Rocket City happen.
This is really awkward for me. I was just trying to book a place in Huntsville, Alabama over Thanksgiving for a soccer tournament. And now they're all going to be booked because it's Rocket City.
Probably not.
Okay, good.
We're watching. I don't, we were going to carry this. When it's the initial announcement of the announcement yesterday was like Trump will be making an announcement at 2 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday. And I'm like, ooh, what's that? And then I saw news coming out today and they're like, Trump to announce that Space Force is going to be moving to Alabama. And I said to Brad, I'm like, don't book a guest at 1 o'clock. I want to make sure we take the president's announcement. And then I said, what's the announcement? Is it Space Force? And I go, I'm not breaking into the show for Space Force. And then you sent me an article from The Hill. It's like, Space Force. I'm like, we'll wait for the press to ask questions.
There's a lot of speculation about this one. Maybe because it was a little bit of a slow news weekend, but I was on Mark Cox Morning Show today doing my Tuesday hit.
Oh, name dropper.
I was, yeah.
Mark Cox.
And you know
I
who
was
else
with
was there?
Mark Cox.
Dan Buck.
And
Buck! Ethan Bright, the producer.
When you're on that show, were you like yesterday, this past week, and I was with, Andy Fry and Brad Range and Ethan Hannaford all in the same time.
No, I don't do that. But when I'm talking about Mark Cox and Dan Buck, I just say, when I was talking with Mark and Dan on the air, I just refer to them as their first names.
Yeah?
Like if
Do you say Mark with a C so everybody knows?
No. Like if I were hanging out with President Trump, I would be like, when I was talking to Donald.
Let's talk. I don't really care about the point of your story. I would rather actually ask you about Dan Buck, who is here because Kim St. Ange, congratulations.
Yes.
New addition to her family. Everybody's happy and healthy. What's Dan Buck like?
Oh, super, super nice guy. I wish I could report otherwise because he's such a nice guy on air.
Let me ask you a question. Does Dan Buck understand Ryan Wiggins?
I think maybe.
How do you know?
Because he's a listener of this station, and he knew me fairly well the first time I walked in.
Do you think that Dan Buck thinks you're funny?
I have no idea. I will ask him that personally. I'll pull him aside. Hey, buddy. You think I'm funny?
Sing him that White Satin song or whatever.
Hey, I got a couple questions for you, but let me sing a song to you first.
I got
yeah,
this
that'd
app,
be
it's
totally
great.
normal.
For you.
That'd be on brand.
Dan, let's go in this other room here. I got a couple questions and a song
So do you
for
think, you said you don't know, but do you think that Dan Buck tells people that he was on air with Ryan Wiggins?
He doesn't say Ryan Wiggins. He just says Ryan because it's all friendly at this point. And people, and I wouldn't say that you and I and Brad are Beyonce or Madonna where we just have one name, but it does sound really cool to say.
Are you the Beyonce of the morning show?
I'm not claiming that or denying that. If they decide that, that's up to them. But the original point of why I even brought up the Mark Cox Morning Show
Oh, man, I was trying so hard.
was that we were all speculating on what this meeting was going to be, and there was a lot of talk that it was going to be something about deploying the National Guard in Chicago and some pretty big news items, and it's none of that.
Happy for Space Force in Alabama.
Me too, and Dan Buck's a super nice guy.
Did you upset him? Is that why you keep saying that?
No, you asked me. You asked me
I know,
if
but
he was a nice guy.
You keep coming back to it.
Yeah, but he's that nice. I need to emphasize it.
He yelled at you, didn't he?
Off air for singing. I don't like that Moody Blues song. I'm like, sorry, sir. You want me to do Nights of White Satin?
I've never actually met him, so I can't screw with him too much here. But I have no knowledge whatsoever. But I'd like to.
Oh, I can tell you already.
I'd like to paint this picture of Dan Buck being like super nice on the air and super ragey.
Let's
off air.
talk to him and see if we can do
Dan,
that.
if you're listening, this is out of love, respect.
That would be great.
I'm gonna create a YouTube short series of him being really nice to you on air and then just like raking you over the coals.
Like
off air.
Like just like a hidden camera where somebody's behind the desk and they caught something in the
Don't
corner.
buck with Dan.
Where he is like pointing me right in the face,
Yeah.
yelling something.
Yeah.
We could stage that.
I'll just tell him some things that would make him want to yell at you.
Okay.
I don't think he would do it. Like I said, I've actually never met him that I know of.
Let's have him on the show.
He's great. Everybody talks about how nice he is. That's the predominant thing is, gosh, he's just so nice. Is he handsome?
I can't answer that question. Come on.
You were talking about it. All right, let's go to a break. We'll be right back.
Experience matters, and if you're considering a backyard project, I want you to call my friends at Chesterfield Fence and Deck. Mark Cox here. You know, Chesterfield Fence and Deck has been around since 1968. They're locally owned and operated by the same ownership all those years, and it is the sign you have the very best. They have their own professionally trained installation crews, their own trucks and tools. They aren't subbing anything out. You're getting the work done by the great people at Chesterfield Fence and Deck. You're welcome to visit their showroom there in Chesterfield, or they'll be happy to come to you. They do free in-home estimates, no obligation. They do free project design, so whether you want a new deck or a new fence or maybe a new pergola out back or a new sunroom, Chesterfield Fence and Deck can take care of it. And for the month of September, mention Mark and get 48 months interest-free financing on your next outdoor project with Chesterfield Fence and Deck. Go to chesterfieldfence.com.
The Diamond Shop. You find them in Clayton. Go visit these wonderful people who have wonderful, beautiful things. You go to thediamondshop.net and you can learn a little bit about them, of course. But right now, they have a Labor Day sale taking place 1 week only. This week, 40% off all in-stock jewelry with an extra 10% off for those VIPs during the special Labor Day event. How do you become a VIP? This simple. You go to the website, thediamondshop.net, scroll to the bottom of the page. You're going to fill out a very, very simple and quick form, and that is going to garner you 10% off, especially this week during the Labor Day sale, where you've already got 40% off all in-stock jewelry. Reach out to them in Clayton. Go talk to them about what you're shopping for. A reminder, folks, it's September, which means October, November, December. We are very close to Christmas time. So maybe you want to do a little pre-Christmas shopping, save a boatload on something absolutely stunning, and a little extra if you become VIP. In Clayton, the Diamond Shop, online at thediamondshop.net.
Mark Cox here. Let me introduce you to my friends at the Lit Cigar Lounge in St. Louis, where luxury meets comfort. Premium hand-rolled cigars, an extensive selection of rare bourbons and whiskeys and craft cocktails. It's comfortable for non-smokers, too. They have a state-of-the-art ventilation system. They have private lockers and live music every Friday night, perfect for date nights or business meetings or just winding down. Visit litstl.com.
Get ready to step back in time and admire some of the coolest cars in town while supporting our local veterans. Enter your beauty on wheels for a chance to win trophies or just stop by and admire these iconic rides. It's the Kauffman Fund's inaugural Heroes Appreciation Car Show, Sunday, September 14th, 9 to 3:30 at the Bonin Towers parking lot in Town and Country. For details and to register your ride, visit thekaufmanfund.org. Rev your engines for our veteran heroes.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
D.C. is a safe city now. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. That message from House Republicans as a federal crime crackdown continues.
It's time to stop turning a blind eye for crime wherever it is. Wherever it is, we must investigate, we must prosecute, and we must protect the law-abiding citizens of this country.
North Carolina Congressman Brad Knott says citizens, businesses, and tourists are all thankful for a safer D.C. President Trump suggesting again today that Chicago could be next, despite resistance from the Democratic mayor and governor, and a ruling from a federal judge that sending the military to L.A. earlier this year was illegal. The administration argues the troops were not used for law enforcement. President Trump just announcing that Space Force Command will move from Colorado to Huntsville, Alabama, which he says will be known as Rocket City. That reverses a Biden decision not to relocate. Chatbot makers are changing how the technology responds to questions about suicide and other signs of mental distress.
Meta, along with OpenAI, which makes ChatGPT, both say they will add the ability for parents to gain access to their teenagers' accounts. An OpenAI blog post said its changes will reroute concerning conversations for parents who are connected to see. and permit them to shut off certain features. In Meta's changes, it's not letting chatbots talk with teens about any potential self-inflicted threats, such as suicide and eating disorders. Meta will also block kids from engaging in what it calls inappropriate romantic conversations.
Fox's Gernal Scott. OpenAI is being sued by California parents who say their son killed himself using instructions from ChatGPT. Disney could pay $10 million to settle allegations the company allowed personal data to be collected from children by failing to properly label some videos uploaded to YouTube as made for kids. A proposed order from the Federal Trade Commission would also require a new video review program. America is listening to Fox News.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
A reinforcing cold front on the way, but not getting here until Wednesday evening. Partly sunny skies this afternoon, 82, 62 tonight, mostly clear. That moon getting fuller and fuller. The full moon's over the weekend. Wednesday, partly sunny, a couple of scattered showers and thunderstorms, but Wednesday's a warm day, 87. Thursday, how about a high, maybe 70. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The Annie Fry Show is sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Air Comfort Service is celebrating 56 years of residential and commercial service, maintenance and installation, and heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. AirComfortService.com.
Annie Fry, Ryan Wiggins, Brad Rain.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride. What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
For goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. As we said, the president was supposed to make an announcement from the Oval Office at 1 p.m. That got delayed about 45 minutes. They announced that they're moving Space Force headquarters from Colorado to Alabama, and they've got a White House Oval Office full of people right now to deliver that announcement. We're summing up here the purpose of that announcement, that relocation of Space Force, but he is going to take questions, and that's taking place right now. And it started out with the president informing the press that they had just done a certain kind of maneuver, and we're going to get to that here in a second. And then also he's going to take questions about his health. So let's listen to President Trump.
We just, over the last few minutes, literally shot out a boat, a drug-carrying boat, a lot of drugs in that boat. And you'll be seeing that, and you'll be reading about that. It just happened moments ago, and our great general, head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, who's been so incredible, including what took place in Iran, knocking out potential nuclear power for a long time to come. I think within a month they would have had it if we didn't do what we did. But he gave us a little bit of a briefing, and you'll see. And there's more where that came from. We have a lot of drugs pouring into our country, coming in for a long time. And we just, these came out of Venezuela and coming out very heavily from Venezuela. A lot of things are coming out of Venezuela. So we took it out, and you'll get to see that after this meeting is over. Do you have any questions, please? Yeah, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Tuberville, you talked about the cost savings
associated
with this announcement. Can you talk about the strategic benefits by having Space Force Command headquartered in Huntsville?
Well, it just works because we have so much else there. and having a central, you could call it a central command, but it really is a command station. Also, even locationally, where it is, and when you think about flying distances, if you can save a half an hour as fast as some of these planes go and things go, and even the rockets go, if you can save by having the best location. So we went out, as you know, to experts, and we had 4 different groups of experts. They all said this was the best location. I also loved it from the standpoint, I know the people of Alabama, they are great people, work hard, and there's no games, and they're very proud of it. And I would say they fought harder for it than anybody else also. A lot of states, 5 states really wanted it, but they wanted it more. And I kid you not when I say that these people, they spoke to me a lot. That's all they wanted to talk about. They didn't want to talk about the weather. They only wanted to talk about moving to this location, moving to Alabama, Huntsville in particular. So we're honored to do it. They really wanted it badly, and they got it. Peter?
President Trump, something completely different, but about a big viral social media trend over the weekend. How did you find out over the weekend that you were dead? You see that?
No.
People didn't see it for a couple days. 1.3 million user engagements as of Saturday morning about your demise.
Really? I didn't see that. You know, I have heard, it's sort of crazy, but last week I did numerous news conferences, all successful. They went very well, like this is going very well. And then I didn't do any for 2 days, and they said, there must be something wrong with him. Biden wouldn't do them for months. You wouldn't see him. And nobody ever said there was ever anything wrong with him, and we know he wasn't in the greatest of shape. No, I heard that. I get reports. Now, you knew I did an interview that lasted for about an hour and a half with somebody, and everybody saw that was on one of your competitors. I did numerous shows and also did a number of truths, long truths, I think pretty poignant truths. No, I was very active over the weekend. They also knew I went out to visit some people at the club that I own, pretty nearby on the Potomac River. And no, I've been very active actually over the weekend. I didn't hear that one. That's pretty serious stuff. Well, it's fake news. You know, it's just it's so fake. That's why the media has so little credibility. I knew they were saying, like, is he okay? How's he feeling? What's wrong? I said, I just left. And it's also sort of a longer weekend, you know, it's Labor Day weekend. So I would say a lot of people know I was very active this Labor Day. I had heard that, but I didn't hear it to that extent. Go ahead, Peter.
Something else. We know that this country has a huge problem with school shootings. You've said that you're open to sending the National Guard pretty much anywhere. Would you ever consider sending an armed National Guardsman to every school?
Well, we have a big problem with school shooting, but we also have thousands and thousands of schools that run perfectly. You know, they talk about you can do things construction-wise, and that's really, I think nobody knows more about construction than me. You can build the construction doors. You can build what they call safety doors, where they lock on the outside, the inside, and every place else. Well, but if one of these lunatics happens to get through, then the police can't get in. Then they're looking for keys all over the place, and it takes a lot of disadvantages to doing, you know, spending billions and billions of dollars and actually making it safer in some way for some of these lunatics that we're dealing with. But I don't think so. I've thrown out the concept. We have great teachers that love our children. The parents love the children. Teachers love the children too. And if you took a small percentage of those teachers that were in the military, that were distinguished in the military, that were in the National Guard, et cetera, and you let them carry. That's something that a lot of people like. I sort of liked it. I'd have to be studied, but they're trained. They know about weapons. You can't do it with every teacher because most teachers don't know, and you know. But I always thought that would be an alternative. But it just we've had a lot of instances. Other countries have also. They have different kinds of problems than we have, but we do have. There's something going on. And it's a bad thing. Yes, please.
Have you spoken with President Putin in the past week? Have you spoken with President Putin?
Yeah, I don't want to. I have learned things that will be very interesting. I think in the next few days you'll find out.
Will there be any consequences if there isn't some type of announcement of a meeting with President Putin and President Zelensky?
Yeah, there will be. We're going to see what happens. We're going to see what they do and what happens. I'm watching it very closely. Last week, they lost 7,000, between the two countries, 7,313 soldiers, to be somewhat exact, for no reason whatsoever. And they're Russian and they're Ukrainian, but, they're soldiers. I want to see it end. Yeah.
Mr. President, have you decided you're definitely going to send National Guard troops to Chicago?
I didn't say when, but the answer is, look, Chicago's very interesting because I watched Pritzker get up and say we don't need help, we're safe. But 2 weeks ago, they had 6 people murdered, and they had 24 people hit by bullets. Last week, as you know, it was 7 people, 24 people hit, and 7 people died. And then over the last 2 days, that was the crown jewel. They had, I guess, 9 or 10 killed, and 50 hit with bullets. And you have this governor get up, who's a terrible governor. Probably he and Gavin Newsom would be probably the 2 worst and most naive. They're naive. Either they're naive or they're very untruthful. And he'll say, we don't want any protection. We don't need. So in the last 3 weeks, he's lost almost 20 people killed. There's no place in the world, including you can go to Afghanistan, you can go to places that you would think of. They don't even come close to this. Chicago is a hellhole right now. Baltimore is a hellhole right now. Parts of Los Angeles are terrible. If we didn't put out the fires, and I mean the other fires, the bullet fires, they didn't do a good job with. They should have had the water coming down, like I said. We had to release the water. We had to go in and release the water to L.A. It's so badly run. But if I didn't send the National Guard into Los Angeles, I would be making an announcement today. I'd be talking about Huntsville, and I'd simultaneously be saying, by the way, the Olympics is not coming to Los Angeles. If we didn't do that, and even the sheriff, the top law enforcement person in Los Angeles said, we could not have handled it without them. So that's what he said.
Did you make your mind up on Chicago, though?
Well, we're going in. I didn't say when. We're going in. When you lose, look, I have an obligation. This isn't a political thing. I have an obligation. When we lose, when 20 people are killed over the last 2.5 weeks, and 75 are shot with bullets. So let me tell you a little story about a place called D.C., District of Columbia, right here where we are. It's now a safe zone. We have no crime. It's in such great shape. You can go and actually walk with your children, your wife, your husband. You can walk right down the middle of the street. You're not going to be shot, Peter. You're safe. Everyone likes you anyway. They probably wouldn't do it. But it's so dangerous. And there are people in this audience you've suffered greatly. There are people in this audience that have been mugged and hurt badly, and they don't want to talk about it. Maybe you were very brave in talking about it. You made quite an impression on a lot of people. I appreciate it. But there were other people in this room that have been hurt very badly just walking down the street in D.C. Washington, D.C. is a safe zone right now. It's a safe city. The restaurants are open. They're booming. You can't get a restaurant. New restaurants are announcing that they're going to be open. This took place in 12 days. Now it's 15 days, but 3 days ago it became what's known as a safe zone. It's a safe city. And this city was really bad, really, really bad. We took 1,600 people out, hardcore criminals that will not be coming back anytime soon. And we're very proud of it. To have our nation's capital lose every week. It was like years, many years, where every single week somebody was killed for many, many, many consecutive weeks. This went on for years. And then we had, last week it was announced that nobody was killed last week. And I made that announcement in front of a very distinguished leader of a country. And I'm saying proudly, ladies and gentlemen, nobody was killed in Washington, D.C. this week. He looked at me like, what's that all about? I say, yeah, we have a little bit of a crime problem. And we don't have a crime problem in Washington anymore. And the mayor has been very helpful, and the police commission has been very helpful, and it's been a great team. And I would love to have Governor Pritzker call me. I'd gain respect for him. and say, we do have a problem, and we'd love you to send in the troops, because you know what? The people, they have to be protected. I saw today on one of your networks, not a friendly network, really the opposite, I would say, very unfriendly network, and they interviewed about 12 people on this morning. Most of them were African American, they were black, and they were saying, please, please, please let the president send in. These were people from Chicago. Please, we need help. We need help. We can't walk outside. We're petrified. If the governor of Illinois would call me up, I would love to do it. Now, we're going to do it anyway. We have the right to do it because I have an obligation to protect this country. And that includes Baltimore. I saw where Governor Moore was asking me to take a walk down the street of Baltimore. Well, Baltimore is a very unsafe place. It's rated number 4 in the city, one of the most unsafe places anywhere in the world. But, you know, we took care. This was a beautiful thing that happened in Washington because we showed that it could be done. And this wasn't just sending big, strong guys, and they are big and they are strong. You know, we had a great decision from the Supreme Court that had to do with sort of talent. It had to do with you are put down based on merit. You can hire based on merit. So merit for a soldier or for a policeman is strong, physically fit, having a certain ability, not a person that is woke and got the job through woke, but wasn't strong enough to lift a gun out of the holster, et cetera, et cetera. No, I looked at the police. As you know, last week I went over, we had a meeting there had to be 300 people, and they were all very impressive looking. And when the bad guys see them, they're not going to do a thing. And so I'm very proud of Washington. It serves as a template, and we're going to do it elsewhere. But Chicago is certainly going to be high. I would love to have him call. I would love the governor of Illinois. I'd be honored to take his call. All he has to do is say, sir, we need help. It's out of control. And everyone knows it is. He's not kidding anyone. I would love to have, I would say, Governor Moore call, because I watched him over the weekend trying to explain that Baltimore, what they need is housing. No, they don't need housing. They need to get rid of the criminals. These are hardcore criminals. You know, we took many people off the streets of Washington, D.C. They're hardcore. They're not going to be good. In 10 years, in 20 years, in 2 years, they're going to be criminals. They were born to be criminals, frankly. They were born to be criminals, and they're tough and mean, and they'll cut your throat, and they won't even think about it the next day. They won't even remember that they did it. And we're not going to have those people. Washington, D.C. is now a safe zone. It's a safe place. And you can walk, Katie, you can walk right down the street with, by the way, one of the biggest human beings I've ever seen, which is her husband. He was a football player for like 11 years in the NFL. He's a big person. But big doesn't mean anything when they have guns and when they have knives and everything else that they have, right?
President Trump from the White House right now, he said, one of the biggest people I've ever seen, and then he put his hand on Senator Katie Britt's elbow. Oh, it's her husband. I got it. It's interesting to listen to Donald Trump tout the success of creating actual safe spaces. Kind of an interesting twist, don't you think? We'll continue to monitor this question and answer session that he's having right now from the Oval Office, really beginning based on that announcement that Space Force is moving its headquarters from Colorado to Alabama. All right, a quick break. We'll get to some sports and local updates with Ethan next on The Annie Frey Show. The Lutheran Elementary School Association, shortened LESA with an E, LESASTL.org is your destination online to be able to learn a bit about an alternative to public education. Now, a lot of people consider alternatives to public education for a whole host of reasons. Maybe you're just looking for a parochial school. Maybe you're an area Lutheran or a Christian who's like, I would really like my kids to learn about Jesus every day. That's a great reason to check out a Lutheran school. Now, there are a lot of Lutherans in Lutheran schools, but there are a lot of people who have other faith walks, Christians of all kinds who go to Lutheran schools because the education is second to none. They have special education in most of the schools as well, with 34 elementary schools in the bi-state area and tuition assistance available to you. That's why we had a big Annie Fry Show scholarship fundraiser earlier this year. We have tipped the scales over $27,000 in that endowed scholarship, which you can still donate to if you go to lisastl.org. Just understand that you have an option out there. If public school is not doing it for you, if maybe homeschool, you're ready to get them in a socialized environment and you're trying to move into something that isn't straight into public education, check out a Lutheran school near you. Both elementary and high schools available in the bi-state area. Learn everything you need to know, including questions about tuition assistance at lisastl.org.
I always get asked, when's the best time of the year to purchase an air conditioning and heating system for your home? My response is always the same. If you call me and have a free consultation on your needs and based on your budget, it's always a good time. There's never a bad time. You don't fear my pricing. I try to buy as much as I can at the start of the season, and anything we have left over, it's still a discounted price to you. So if you're looking or you're waiting before winter, because we all put it off, man. We all put it off. None of us like to spend money. But if you know you're going to be doing something before winter, call me, Bart Inman. One easy number in Missouri and Illinois. It's 314-293-2600. Or on the internet, bartinman.com. That is Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
If you want thick, healthy, gorgeous hair, then you need Hair Volume from New Nordic. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy, Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and NewNordicUSA.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
Annie Fry is back because truth doesn't take a break. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Hold up. Check it out.
Mega Muffin's mostly manic musings.
Well, that's a throwback.
These are Ethan's favorites, as determined by sort of me and sort of Ethan. I'm going to take his opinion.
Did you talk
into
to
advice.
Ethan about this at all?
I did a little bit.
You did?
Yeah.
Ethan? Confirm or deny?
Confirm-ish.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Confirm-ish.
we discussed
It's a collab.
Yeah, it is a collab. Yeah, thank you.
I believe that was a week one open as well.
That was an early one.
Because I think that you actually said my name on the first day, and maybe even the first couple of days, and then you
it
just
turned
threw
into
in
nonsense.
and then you just threw this in, and it was like, okay, it didn't take long for the direction of this to go absolutely off the wall.
Ethan, did you have a good Labor Day weekend?
I did have a good Labor Day weekend.
You were in Minnesota.
I went up to the old Sota. That is where my wife is from.
Did you go to the Governor Tim Walz Labor Day protest?
I didn't, but
That would
I
have
actually,
been that would have been overachiever status.
I do have a pretty good Tim Walz story from the weekend. On Friday, we went to the Minnesota State Fair. It's the largest state fair in the country.
Really?
Not my cup of tea, but
State fairs in general, or just specifically the Minnesotan one?
both.
Okay. Like you don't like them, but you particularly don't like them.
150,000 people there. Just way too many people. All it is fried foods and shaved butter, and it's just
That's the Illinois
not
State
my
Fair. That's the
thing.
Iowa State Fair. That's the Nebraska.
Yeah.
What is it with the butter?
I don't know.
I guess it's just the dairy.
It's just not my thing. Not my thing. But there was.
I don't like the temporariness of it.
Butter?
The sculpture. That's not going to last, ladies and gentlemen.
I don't think it's supposed to, sweetheart. Why would what? Like, what do you mean? Do you want to put it in a museum?
I want it, if somebody's going to make something, I want it to last more than a day. It's going to get hot out. That thing's going to be all over. You're
Well, they
going to
keep
go
it in
the whole fair?
a cooled case. Yeah, they keep them in cooled cases.
Can't do that forever.
We know your affinity for sugar. What's your affinity for butter?
I'd say 8.
Butter's great.
Yeah.
I have toast and butter every day. Anyway.
Great.
Well, there was a booth set up there. It was an anti-Tim Walz booth. And I was like, ooh, I'll go check that out.
I think I saw that on social media.
They had a spinning wheel, and it had a bunch of different things on it. It said stolen valor and Joe Biden is
Was
fit
it
for
the Minnesota
president.
Republicans group?
But probably. But it had all these different things that he had been accused of. Goofy guy, all these different things. And you spin it, but they're all obviously things that are not true. So the person standing there at the booth, you spin the wheel and they go, oh, nope, that one's not true. And then they'd give you a fan on it that said Walls Lies. So everyone had these
Did you
walls.
get a fan?
Yeah, I got a fan. It's at home. I should have
did
brought
you
it
spin
in.
the wheel?
I spun the wheel and I got the one that said Joe Biden is fit for president for office. The guy goes, yep, that one's a lie. Here you go.
Were there any on there that were not lies?
Oh, no, they were all lies.
That's hilarious.
They were definitely all lies.
All right,
Yeah,
Minnesota Republican Party. I'm assuming it's the state GOP.
probably. I would assume
He
so.
went up to the booth, did enough research to go about the whole thing, had no idea who was doing it.
Absolutely none. Nope. Didn't care. I saw fans that said Walls Lies. I said I want one.
Let's do it.
That's great.
So
How about bringing it local?
let's go ahead and bring it local. This is technically last week, but I wasn't sure what your guys' coverage was of the local college football that took place at the end of last week. So Mizzou played their opening game of 2025 last Thursday against Central Arkansas, and they beat the living tar out of them.
Aren't they supposed to?
Yes, that's exactly what
Does
these
Central
games are.
Arkansas get money for playing
They
Mizzou?
do. They do get
Yeah.
money. They are.
I think that's a weird thing.
So they are technically Division One, but they're a lower level of Division One. They are in the FCS. Mizzou is in the FBS. So
you're in Division 1. We thought you meant Division 1.
Ryan is just
Thank
in the
you, Ryan.
BS. Next.
61-6 was the final score of that game. And in that game, the whole thing going in for Mizzou was who was going to be the starting quarterback. There was two quarterbacks that they were going
didn't
back
know?
and forth between. They did not know.
Ooh.
So the head coach, Eli Drinkwitz, said, okay, Bo Prabula is going to start half number 1. Sam Horn's going to start half number 2. Well, Prabula had a great first half, and unfortunately for Sam Horn, he got injured on the first play
Oh, no.
of the game. He is out indefinitely. He was on crutches and had a cast on one of his legs
Ruh-roh.
at the end of the game. So he's going to be out indefinitely. So Bo Prabula, the Penn State transfer, will be the starting quarterback looking ahead for Mizzou. They play Kansas this upcoming weekend. It's the first time since 2011 those two played, and they do not like each other. That is a
Kansas
really big
and
rivalry.
Mizzou?
Really big rivalry. Yes,
Yeah.
Kansas and Mizzou. And then Illinois, they played Western Illinois, another similar situation of, they were paying them to play them, and they obliterated them as well. They beat them 52-3. Illinois plays Duke this upcoming weekend. That's kind of a fun non-conference
I want
game.
Trump to bring back Chief Alinowick. Onward.
Oh my gosh, I would love that.
Yes, everybody would.
One of the best
Yes.
logos in college football.
And performances, acknowledgments, like the whole thing. Bring him back. Bring the tradition back. Do the dance. Everybody does. Bring back Chief Alinowick and do it right now. First, bring safety and security back to Chicago and do it with Chief Alinowick.
My dad actually still has like old apparel with it on there. I'm like, oh, that's so
wait,
cool.
no. Safety and security, then balance the budget, then Alinowick.
Nope.
Well, agree to disagree.
Okay.
The Gateway Arch is going to be going dark for the month of September to help migrating birds. The
Power
lights-
bills?
Well, yes. But not so.
We need to save some birds, guys.
Turn off the arch.
The lights,
Expensive. Turn off the arch.
the lights illuminating the Gateway Arch will be turned off through the month to reduce light pollution, which
Birds.
can disorient.
I got a bird problem in my house, too. Good grief. Just paid that electric bill today. Not happy.
Disorients birds and interferes with their migratory patterns.
I'm really disappointed in you and going along with this story.
I'm just reading.
You need to report the real news.
This is real news.
You spent time with Tim Walls on a weekend, and now you're like, oh, the arch needs to turn its lights off for birds.
I'm just relaying the information to you. You guys do what you want with it.
Mm-hmm.
I am meant to be the
I am.
unbiased source here.
Arch,
okay?
this is a classic Babylon Bee story headline.
I'll
Arch
use
turns off lights due to high Ameren power bills.
I turned off my air conditioning for the last month and a half due to
long 6 weeks. It says
It's been a
40%,
tough
Annie.
6 weeks.
This is for you, Annie. 40% of all birds migrating in September travel along the Mississippi River
Do
corridor.
they run into the arch?
Maybe that was an issue at one point.
Maybe
See, they don't
it's
even
survival of the fittest, and they're idiots.
They don't have real details on this. It's
says
power.
they can collide due to artificial lights, which the park aims to prevent.
The birds collide.
I guess so.
That sounds like a Pink Floyd song.
No, that sounds like a Power Man 5000 song. This is what it's like when birds collide.
What?
Oh man.
Brad gets
Is it Worlds?
Yes.
Okay. I was just saying, is there really a Birds Collide song?
No.
It seems a super
That would
specific
be
line.
amazing.
That would be
Spot.
so cool.
Wow, she kind of stumbled into that one.
Who sings the White Knight song? White Satin? Knights and Satin?
What?
What?
Moody Blues.
Is that different than the song you just sang? Different people?
Moody Blues and Power Man 5000 are actually the same band. So yeah, no,
I
you
knew
got
it.
that.
I told you. I will rise to the occasion.
Yep.
There it was. I'm going to turn my lights off too.
October 1st. The lights on the arch are back on October 1st.
See, when when it's not as hot
out.
outside,
You know what?
it's the same thing that the Wiggins
the power,
household is doing.
The power bill is supposed to go down October
know.
1st.
I'm telling you.
That is true.
It's for the birds.
Do the birds stop migrating October 1st?
Yeah.
I don't know. I read you the numbers I had.
Are you even a real reporter?
You people, I'm gone for
Spin the
4
wheel.
days.
You
and you
people.
guys just absolutely go haywire.
You people.
Gee whiz.
We don't have standards. Are you done? Do you have more?
I can give you more if you want more.
One more.
One more. If you owe back taxes in Illinois, you could be getting help from a tax amnesty program.
I need to quit paying my taxes.
No kidding. I didn't know that was an option. Go ahead. Ethan, I'm sorry.
Is Ethan frustrated? I can't tell.
He's like, how do I even do my job?
Between October 1st and mid-November, okay, nothing. The state won't assess
Keep going.
any
Report the story.
penalties on taxes that were due over the past 6 years, specifically between
6
the
years?
end of June 2018 and the beginning of July 2024.
Forgive me. Did you say like income taxes, property taxes? Does it say specifically or just taxes?
This story from Fox 2 News just says back taxes.
You still have to pay the taxes. You don't have to
Doesn't
pay
pay
the penalties.
penalties.
Back
So it's-
taxes that have already gone to collection are eligible, it says.
It's typical. It's creating an incentive for people to pay nothing on their taxes for a long time, then wait for a moment like this and go, okay, now I'll do it.
I hate the government.
It's
in the
it's
Illinois.
unbelievable. It's so stupid.
Ethan, you're doing a great job. Are you done?
Do you want more?
X's and Y's.
Okay.
Next.
All right.
You did a great job. Welcome back.
Thank you.
You didn't let the Governor Tim Walz rub off on you there too much. Not at all. I want to see that fan.
I'll bring it tomorrow.
Would you?
Yes.
You could fan Ryan Wiggins during the show.
Yeah, make sure we brought it back from Minnesota. It has a little more use there.
All right, quick break. When we come back, X's and Y's, the difference in boys and girls. We get to the bottom of it. Don't go away.
I got a brand new scratch on my Cadillac. Try to call the body shop, but my phone is dead.
Michael's Flooring Outlet. If you are in the mood to do a little shopping for new flooring, Michael's Flooring Outlet wants to earn your business. I think that's a key part of why people do go to Michael's Flooring Outlet and stay and potentially repeat customers with Michael's Flooring Outlet. IGotFloor.com is the website. You can learn everything about them by visiting the website. You can also visit them in any of their 3 locations here in Missouri, St. Charles County, West County, and Dardenne Prairie. You have a huge variety and selection of flooring. And if you're looking for a top-tier carpet like the Mohawk Smart Strand Silk line of flooring that delivers the superior performance that you want to invest your hard-earned dollar in, you're going to get value with that as well at Michael's Flooring Outlet. They've been partners with us for a very long time here on 97.1 and specifically on the Annie Fry Show. So we stand by our recommendation that when it's time to put new flooring in your home, Michael's Flooring Outlet is a very, very worthy suggestion of where you can shop and where you can invest your money and get back quality, great customer service, and value. You can find everything you need to know about them online at igotfloor.com.
College football summer is no time to slouch because we are taking you to school on the Cover 3 podcast, part of the CBS Sports Podcast Network. It's time for our annual summer school series as we take time to break down some of your favorite teams with experts and insiders who know these depth charts from top to bottom. But summer school is just extra credit as we go through positional drafts, player rankings, and more. Follow and listen to the Cover 3 podcast on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6986. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-575-6986. That's 800-575-6986.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Are you worried about President Trump's health? I just put that into the plural for no reason. Don't worry about it.
Professional.
YouTube live chats polls today's. Check out the YouTubes. On the interwebs.
You used to get paid for this.
Yeah. Today, I'm going to have to pay them. 2:36. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Fox News National, St. Louis Local, 97.1 FM Talk. X's and Y's.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Ryan, take it from here.
Hey, you ready for X's and Y's? Because it's time for X's and Y's. Don't you love X's and Y's? It's X's and Y's time.
Hi, Trisha.
Trisha.
Hello, Annie and crew.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah, there is.
The president is just now wrapping up his press conference. And we took it late. And we started from the beginning. And that went on for an hour.
Yes,
it was about
did.
45 minutes late, and it was an hour. All right, it's X's and Y's time. We'll get to the latest information, if anything else, in addition to what we aired with the president's press conference. My favorite question from Peter Ducey being, where were you when you found out that you were dead? Did you hear that, Trisha?
He didn't even know.
Yeah. He acted like he didn't.
He acted like he hadn't heard the story.
Yeah. X's and Y's is a segment we do every Tuesday at this time, and we are denoting the fact that there are two genders, and yes, they are different, so we are asking each other questions. Trisha and I speaking on behalf of all womankind, and Ryan and Brad on behalf of mankind. Ryan, you get the first question. What do you got?
How did you get that scar an offensive question?
What?
I guess it depends on where the scar is.
Did you write that down?
Yeah.
Do you ask that of women?
I just wonder if it's ever appropriate to ask a woman that question.
Have you?
No.
Is there something you want to ask?
No.
One of the women in the room?
Can a woman ask a woman that question? Obviously, a guy can't ask a woman that question.
Women can ask women questions about their physical appearance.
Sure, yeah. I wouldn't have a problem with it, I don't think, but could you ask a man that question?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, I think they'd like it. I think I'd be like, is that a real scar? Or did you draw that this morning?
I mean, unless it's something like disfiguring.
I mean, that's the thing. I think that it's all situational, right? Like if a girl has a scar on her arm and you're like, how'd you get that scar? That's not offensive. But if it's something that is clearly could be uncomfortable for that person or has been like a situation, I wouldn't ask like a man about a scar across his face.
No, I think you need to. I think that I don't necessarily understand the gender difference there so much as I don't think you should be asking those questions unless you have a close personal relationship with someone, because it might be something that is not. There might be a personal reason behind that is uncomfortable to discuss.
That's the first question I ask in interviews.
Well, that's why you only have this job.
And that's why we do this.
And why I can't leave.
Yeah.
Maybe don't ask that question anymore to anybody.
That's right. That's why we do this, is job advice.
Trisha, would you say it's good advice from women to men to say, don't ask anything about a personal appearance?
Yeah.
Unless you have a personal relationship that far exceeds gender norms of questions and that type of stuff, there's just not really an appropriate question to ask about one's physical appearance.
I do think it's okay, or at least I do this. I hope it's okay. I compliment people, both men and women, on their appearance. I don't know that men can do that the same as
I don't think men can do it the same.
But I will say, oh, like your shirt looks nice or your hair looks nice or whatever it is. If I see it, I say it.
Okay. Brad, you have anything to add?
Not really. I mean,
can a dude ask that question of you and just be like, "It's
like,
totally
where'd you get
cool.
that scar?"
Yeah.
For sure. Actually, I'd welcome it because usually there's a cool story that goes along with it. Whether or not the story's true, a guy will make up a story to go along with his scar.
Yeah, I was windsurfing on my motorcycle.
Yeah.
What? Do you have any cool scars?
Can't ask me that question as a female and as my coworker. I was just told that by Trisha.
That's why we make up the stories about the scars, so it impresses the girls.
Ask Brad.
About your scar.
I don't want to. Yeah. Maybe Brad gave it to him.
No, to answer your question, it's just from
Here's
psoriasis.
my question. Okay, fantastic. Glad I have an answer to a question I didn't want to know the answer to. Here's a question to you, gentlemen, and you can speak on behalf of all men. Do men assess the attractiveness in their mind, subconsciously or very consciously, of every woman they come into contact with? Now, I'm asking this not in the sense of like, are you like, this person is on a scale of 0 to 10, X attractive, therefore I give them X amount of respect. That's not what it is. But is it ingrained in the male brain that when you see a female, you instantly determine in your head whether or not you find them attractive?
Whether or not you personally find them attractive, I
Not in a
don't
personal
know.
relationship, but just like, that's a pretty girl. Pretty girl. Pretty girl.
I mean,
pretty girl.
Not pretty girl.
Yeah.
I'm trying to stay on the positive side.
The easiest answer to your question is yes, but it's a little more detailed than that.
Excuse me, what? What do you mean?
Well, I don't know that guys will subconsciously. Yes, I don't think that it's always conscious.
I would say it's conscious.
I don't know. I'm not always thinking that.
Like immediately when you meet somebody, you don't go, "Oh, she's pretty." You don't think that?
Well, sometimes, but
Only when
not
they're pretty.
100% of the time.
Well, you ever meet a girl and you go, "Nah."
Yes, sometimes.
When you see guys, can you assess their level of attractiveness?
Don't know how to do it.
Yeah, we really don't know. I mean,
because I think
I'll say sometimes to that though too, because there are times you go, I'm sure that guy
is an attractive guy.
like he's a ladies' man. But most of the time you just don't know.
Sometimes,
go ahead.
I was gonna say sometimes you see a guy and a girl together and you go, "How the heck did that happen?"
Yeah, that happens
I don't get
too.
it.
That's based on the girl usually.
I was scrolling through social media last night, and I just scrolled past. I think it was a Vogue. It's probably an ad served to me, but I scrolled past. And I'm like, that is a handsome man, and it was Sam Hartman, who used to be the quarterback for Notre Dame. And the whole time that season, I was like a little extra interested in watching Notre Dame football because this Sam Hartman was this man's man. I think he was he redshirted and then he came back, maybe some COVID years.
He was at North Carolina and then he transferred for his final year to Notre Dame.
And had a good year.
Yeah.
But I mean, he did look older.
Good ball player, even better looking lad.
Oh man, that guy's a good looking dude. But I thought to myself, that's weird because I don't traditionally see men and think instantly. I just find him to be incredibly
Especially
attractive.
a college boy, Annie.
He's out of college.
He was.
He's of age. And I told my husband the whole season that he was a really hot man. And I said, I like dark-haired men. And my husband, I realized I have a type, and my husband is A+ my type. He's number one. And I watched more Notre Dame football with him
Jared.
that year. And Jared was like, I'll cut my losses. Do you think that men, as a rule, you meet somebody, specifically women, and you think immediately you register like how attractive you find them, and then you quickly move on?
It's a relatively quick thing.
Mm-hmm.
Do you do it to other men? Do men assess the attractiveness of other men instantly, and therefore maybe there's some sort of
I would say
this man's-
it's not as quick, but
it
I
happens.
would say it's there, and I would say for me at least, it's more so on physique. It's like, oh, that's a ripped dude, or that's a really strong dude, or that is a
not how pretty
very
his face is.
fat human being. it's more so. It's more so that for me. Like, whoa, that dude's in really good shape. And I'm like, oh man, I wish I was in that good of shape. I feel like that's what it is more for me.
With a guy, you'd say they can fall into like one of 4 categories. With a woman, they could fall into one of 100.
Mm-hmm.
Because you just don't care as much.
I would also say too, like whenever a guy looks and assesses a girl and if she's attractive or not, it can change as he gets to know her, and she can become more attractive or less attractive based on what he learns about her. But initially, the physical appearance thing, I think every guy does it.
Question for Trisha: if you see an incredibly beautiful man, do you automatically think that he's going to be nice or a jerk?
I guess it kind of depends on the beauty, but I think my brain starts with jerk.
Yeah, that's true.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, you could meet
Is
him
that
and be
why
like,
you guys are like about me all the time?
yes, that's
It
it.
is.
That's
Yeah,
the
that's
reason.
why-
It's your
yeah,
beauty.
It's my windswept features.
That is
Your
exactly why
people
we're like that. about you.
chiseled.
Avoid you in the
Chiseled,
hallway.
windswept features.
Totally is.
Windswept.
As if formed by rock over thousands of years.
How many shirts you wearing?
Eroding.
Two.
Brad, real quick question.
Yeah. So why is it that women like romance movies
I don't.
in general?
I do because it's not like they're my go-to, but they usually have a happy ending, and life is not like perfect. It's kind of messy and sad. And
Are you
there's a
mad
lot
if
of-
it doesn't have a happy ending?
Yes, I
Like,
get
what did I
mad.
do this for?
Well, yes. If I invest in something and like the main person like doesn't make it or they don't end up together, yeah, I've wasted my time because I like rom-coms probably because it's an escape.
Don't watch The Mist by Stephen King.
Does that have a bad
If you
ending?
want
It's a
happy
major
ending.
romance
gosh.
novel turned.
With monsters.
The Mist is like how at the end the man gets teary-eyed from the beauty of the woman and they're emotionally connected by their souls, which is why I don't watch romance movies. I think that sounds terrible.
I think you're describing a different movie.
I don't know if I
When
haven't
they
seen
all
The Mist.
die.
I'm
so
talking about The Mist, Missed. They did not connect. in that movie.
misconnections.
The Mist.
Craigslist.
Yeah. Right. It was a Craigslist
That's
misconnection.
why it was not highly rated.
Very short movie too.
Brad, why do men hate romance movies?
Because they're boring and nothing explodes.
Oh God, you make us sound so
Caveman?
So yeah.
I know.
But it might not.
Big explosion.
Am I wrong though? I mean, like,
Yes.
is it fun just to watch two people like
Ryan says you're
sit at a
wrong.
coffee shop and chat? That's boring.
That's
I like Friends.
no, yeah. What romance movie is just people sitting at a coffee shop talking? That doesn't sound like romance. I think there are reasons why men do like romance movies.
Would you watch a movie if it was like, woman who succeeded in New York's going back to her small town?
No.
But then at the
Sweet
end she
home
explodes.
She
Alabama.
explodes.
Like in Wait.
No.
She eats her feelings.
Everybody's happy.
She's about to kiss him on Christmas Eve.
Boom. Michael Bay and Lincoln Park credits roll.
Ethan, do you not like romance movies because nothing goes kaboom?
No, not to that extent. I would argue it just depends on the quality of movie. For example, growing up, the girls in my family, my mom, two sisters,
Who is
absolutely.
wonderful, and you just love
Not
her.
this again.
And you're so grateful that she gave you life.
Yes, I am.
Dad did that too.
Don't know why this is ever.
It was
not
more
a
work
thing.
for Mom, I promise.
They all loved Hallmark movies. I hate Hallmark movies because they're just terrible quality, and it is the storyline, besides the blowing up, is accurate from what Ryan just said.
But what if they
It's
just
just
snuck one in?
One explosion.
They couldn't afford it,
doesn't
Annie.
even have
They
to be
could
a
not
main.
afford it.
It doesn't have to be a main character.
This is just
It could
the
be-
snowman.
It could be the friend.
I had to watch so many of those growing up that anything that's not that is kind of like romance, I'm like, yeah, it's better than that. So I'll take it.
Trisha, do you have a question for us?
Sure.
Let's tee it up. Can you stay?
Yeah.
Okay. This is more important than anything else you're doing, right?
Of course.
This is very serious business. All right. Stick around. We'll finish up X's and Y's when we come back and get your answers to the question on the poll. Are you worried about President Trump's health? We'll be right back.
Goodbye rain, goodbye sorrow, and goodbye shame.
It's this time of year when I see Andrea's at the grocery store. I usually grab a couple bottles because we're coming out of grilling season. Although they say it is because we're ending summer, but really this is a great time to grill. So I grabbed a couple of extra bottles of Andrea's steak sauce this weekend at Schnucks. They were on sale for $5. I don't know if they still are, but regardless, I stock up because that stuff keeps for a long time, and it is the perfect complement to any meat that you're making. If you've never tried Andrea's sauce, you have got to make it a part of your morning, whether you're putting it like basting it all day, like a pork tenderloin that we usually do, or you're just going to bust it out right when you make dinner tonight. Either way, have Andrea's sauce on hand. It is made right here in St. Louis in Fairview Heights, Illinois, and it is world famous. I should tell the story again, and I will, that the White House orders a case of this every year and has since the Reagan administration. because the White House chefs know that Andrea sauce is very, very good on everything. Check it out. Get it at Schnucks or Deerbergs or Andreas.com.
97.1 FM Talk is proud to support the Make Missouri Pro-Life Again banquet. Mark Cox here. Join me Monday, September 8th at the St. Charles Convention Center with special guest speaker Laura Trump. Learn more at 971talk.com/events.
To have a roof over your head, a nice roof over your head, is very important.
That's Rick talking about his experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago, and they were very cooperative on getting us the right paint. They were in and out and done in no time. Once it was finished, looked great. We were very happy with it.
The main reason Rick called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by a 25-year transferable warranty.
We've watched a lot of people get their house painted 3 or 4 times, and we haven't had to do any of it. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to have to paint it every 5-7 years.
Take a tip from Rick and put down the paintbrush and call Rhino Shield for your free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago. Financially makes sense, especially if it's going to last like this did. Still looks great.
Call now. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Rooted in faith, grounded in family. We're back with more truth. This is the Annie Fry Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Our YouTube live chat poll, Ethan's going to give us results here in a couple of minutes. Are you worried about President Trump's health? He gave a press conference, lasted an hour in the White House, so I don't know if that affects your answer. Yes, very concerned, a little worried, or not at all. Come vote before we wrap it up here in a few minutes. We're doing X's and Y's, differences between boys and girls. Trisha and Ethan have a question. Let's go to Trisha first.
All right, so gentlemen, are there menu items that you will not order because they are not masculine? So,
like a strawberry salad?
Yes, exactly.
I've never viewed food as masculine or feminine.
You have not?
No. I won't order a strawberry salad because I don't want strawberries in my salad, but that's the only reason. It's not a man or masculine or feminine.
I feel like yes, but I can't find the situation.
Ryan,
where I've
are
done
you
this.
eating soup?
Oh yeah, I'll eat soup.
Jesse
for
Waters,
sure.
I think, says that men are not supposed to eat soup.
Yeah, which is dumb.
That is dumb. I agree.
Soup's great. In fact, we're getting into the time of year where soup is
He
like
basically just says it's
chili
not
and-
manly. Do you use a straw?
To eat soup?
Yeah. No.
I mean,
Yes,
it's like
answer
a
that
really
question, too.
thin
All day,
soup.
aren't they?
So is there anything that is not
Yeah, and
masculine enough
I mean,
for
you
to
guys
eat?
nailed it. It's something like a
soup and salad?
almond pecan
You ever had-
strawberry
you ever had
salad
that
or
salad?
something. Yeah, it's good.
It's fantastic.
So that's why I can't find the spot where I've done it, but I feel like I have done that.
Little feta cheese in there.
Yeah, it's great. I
I'm
need
more
one right now.
I'm more of the guy that I don't go out to eat very often. So when I do, I'm getting something with meat in it.
Cheeseburger, steak.
Yeah, those are both good options. Both at the top of the list usually.
Is there
depending on the
anything,
restaurant.
the other side of Trisha's question, is there anything that if you were with a woman, I mean, we're all married here, so let's forget about the dating thing. Is there anything that your wife could order that you'd be like, whoa?
Turkey leg.
I think like chili cheese dog or something
Yeah.
like real heavy.
Meat
like-
garnished with more meat?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't order that in public.
Anything your wife could order, Ethan, that you'd go, ew, wow.
No, she's pretty picky. So I mean, with her, I mean, like, you know, the pizza's always cheese. She's like big fan of hot dogs. Like it's always like super simple stuff like that. I'm like, you know what? Like I knew this going in.
Real quick,
Accepted it.
you got a question for us?
Yeah. So here's my thing. High heels.
Yeah.
What is the pro about high heels? I don't understand it. They look painful.
Yeah, they
like
are.
what are they at? A couple of inches, I guess, depending on the level of them.
Mm-hmm.
What is the purpose behind them?
Make your legs look longer, makes you look taller, makes you look thinner.
Your butt.
It
look
does?
good.
Does it
Yeah.
actually?
Tightens your little tushy.
Yep.
Or your big tushy, I guess.
While you're wearing them?
Yep.
So this is
Yeah.
the genuine
Stand on
reason
your
behind
toes.
high heels.
Feel your, stand on your
Yeah.
toes and feel your butt while you're doing it.
Ryan, feel it. You're not feeling it.
No, don't feel his butt. I was going to joke that before you reached
You
for
did
it.
it.
You
You
actually
started
did
to
it.
reach for my butt.
He had an outward palm.
dramatic. No, you're right.
So if you
It
walk-
is much firmer.
If you walked on your toes,
It's
you notice
fantastic.
every time you step, your glute is flexed.
Mm-hmm.
So it's solely about the butt.
No, legs, length, thinness. It does make you feel and look much more attractive. But at however many years I'm married now, 18, not necessary.
I'm going to combine those questions and ask you, ladies, you ever gone to Courtesy Diner and ordered a large slinger?
Not in mixed company.
Trisha and I order that every Tuesday night together.
Annie and I go.
We'll have two. Make it a double. With a beer. Make
Give
it a
me
manly
3.
beer.
There's only 2 of you.
All right, YouTube live chat poll. Let's get to the results. We'll ask the question around the room. Are you worried about President Trump's health? Very concerned, a little worried, or not at all? Ryan?
Not at all.
Trisha?
No, not at all.
Brad?
Not at all.
Ethan?
238 votes on today's YouTube live chat poll. Are you worried about President Trump's health? Very concerned, a little worried, not at all. Was not close. 81% saying not at all, 16% say a little worried, and 3% say very concerned.
It's a solid 3% every time, isn't it? There's always about 3%. We appreciate each of you. Thank you for being with us here. The Mark Reardon Show on 97.1 FM Talk. St. Louis Conservative next.
I'm not America's sweetheart, so beat the drum with me. I'm not America's sweetheart.
RulerFoods.com. Save on your grocery bill because, boy, is it expensive to shop everywhere and buy all the things now. Ruler Foods has a commitment to keeping the costs low for you. And, of course, they have extra savings available to you at any time. You can go in there and you're going to save in your grocery bills. They'll add in extra savings as well on special items. You're going to be in a position to save right now on 80% lean ground beef, just $4.88 a pound, sold in a convenient 3-pound roll. You can get a pound of strawberries for just $1.88 to throw in your delicious salad, if that is something that you're into, ladies. You can also fire up the grill with Kroger pork, baby back ribs, or Heritage Farm chicken, perfect for summer cookouts. Save on all of these wonderful things that you're going to buy, you're going to purchase, you're going to get them anyway. You might as well spend less on them, and you got to do that at Ruler Foods. If you hurry to their website, rulerfoods.com, you can get $10 off a $60 delivery with promo code SUPERSAVER online at rulerfoods.com.
Don't get lulled into believing the IRS is getting soft. It's just the opposite. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. We are being told by IRS collection officers that their higher-ups are demanding that they get more aggressive than ever. So don't ignore them any longer. Level up. If you have unfiled returns,